Hollywood, starting from animation. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 251, The Confrontation Between the Old and New Media Forces. Approaching noon, the box office data of major movies released in North America for several hours on February 14 has already been in the hands of major movie companies. This data is sent by the three major theaters, not calculated by a professional statistical company, so there will be errors, but the error range is not too large. It is an important reference for each film company to check the box office. Deadline 11:30 a.m. North American box office rankings of the day. First place, Trust in a Bottle, produced by Warner Group. It accounted for 19.3% of the day's film schedule and reported a box office of $3.7 million. It was released for 2.5 days, with a cumulative North American box office of $15.2 million. Number 2, Dangerous Person, the film co-produced and distributed by Warner and Paramount. The gunfight action movie starring Mel Gibson, accounted for 11.3% of the day's schedule, and reported $3.54 million. It was released for 9.5 days, with a total North American box office of $32.5 million. Number 3, Slim Girl, the film was produced by Miramax Films, and has been very popular since it was released. It was only in the morning time today, with a 6% film schedule, and again won $2.17 million. Number 4, My Grand Greek Wedding, this up-and-coming new film produced by Wald Pictures, with 18.9% of the second highest film output of the day, only scored $1.78 million, ranking 4th. Seeing Wald Pictures' new film, its box office data only ranked 4th, which made many people in the same industry laugh. The second highest number of films, the 4th place box office record, or the new film released today. The whole Hollywood says that Zhu Ke Wald is a genius, but now it seems that geniuses have their time in Waterloo. According to current trends, My Grand Greek Wedding is over. Well, even if they ask Paramount for help now, it's too late. Ms. Shirley Lansing, the president of Paramount, couldn't help shaking her head after reading the report. Hey, the old friend Jordan also sighed. I have watched the film My Grand Greek Wedding. It is indeed an excellent film, but who made them end their cooperation with Paramount now? There is no such thing as ours. Support. They are simply vulnerable to Warner's powerful media force. The Big Six is the Big Six. Jordan is a veteran who has been in Hollywood for almost 20 years. He knows the strength of big companies too. Warner Group, one of the 6 major Hollywood film companies, the parent company behind it is Time Warner Group, which is the world's largest media group. Time Warner, with a market value of more than $100 billion, under the bombardment of their media power, who dares to conceal its edge? Even Paramount, one of the 6 major players, is not as powerful as Time Warner in terms of media power. The heroin scandal, male lead scandal. Director Zack Snyder is also ridden with negative news. The script of My Grand Greek Wedding was exposed this morning as suspected of plagiarism. Many screenwriters have filed petitions in the Los Angeles District Court. All kinds of negative reports were reported by the media under the Time Warner Group as true or false. Important. The major Hollywood studios know that these are fake news. Warner's attack this time is completely capable of suppressing Zhu Ke's Wald films. Through this method, it not only shows the power of Warner Group to the outside world, but also can play a role in killing other small and medium-sized film companies. In other words, it is an imperative action for Warner Group to suppress Wald Pictures. Haha, this is the media power of big companies. Guy, don't watch Wald Pictures' excellent films in recent years, but in front of giant companies like Warner, it still has no resistance. Movie audiences don't care whether your news is true or false. The 3 of them become tigers. There are few films that have been plagued by negative news that can achieve high box office. Love movies like My Grand Greek Wedding that rely on word of mouth and long-term screenings will definitely not end once the media is targeted. Wald Pictures, it's over. Zhu Ke Wald, the lucky guy, he's set to suffer this loss. Many practitioners in Hollywood have been talking in private. My Grand Greek Wedding, which has a high volume of 18.9%, is not as good as Slim Girl, which has only 6% of films and has been released for more than 10 days. Do you think there's hope for a counterattack? Counterattack? Haha, in the face of the powerful media power of Warner Group, do you have a counterattack? I can't kill you. However, Just when the outside world thought Zhu Ke was defeated, a company appeared in front of the world, American Online, AOL. As a company that provides dial-up internet services, AOL not only has a dominant position in dial-up internet access, but also has a strong rise in the emerging internet media field. Every internet user who dials the internet is a user of our media power, portal website, news information, finance, sports event reports. These emerging areas of the internet all show AOL's presence. If Time Warner Group is the world's largest traditional media company, then AOL is the world's largest emerging internet media company. One is tradition, one is emerging. It stands to reason that the two companies will not easily initiate a vicious relationship, but, with Zhu Ke's participation, AOL brazenly shot Time Warner. The huge media power supported Zhu Ke, and supported Zhu Ke's Wald Pictures and new films. All of a sudden, nearly 100 media newspapers produced a film supporting My Grand Greek Wedding, one after another. Actor gossip, no. Heroine scandal, no. Director Zak's negative news is purely fictional. The script is suspected of plagiarism, which is even more nonsense. At the same time, under the instigation of AOL, many Hollywood filmmakers have spoken out. Not only that, but even those critics who have aggressively attacked Zhu Ke and Wald's new films in various media and channels. They also turned their guns around and turned to Time Warner Group and their new film Message in a Bottle. Letter in a Bottle is such a classic pure love novel, but look at what Warner filmed. Shit, Mila, a well-known film critic, I want to apologize. The My Grand Greek Wedding that I published in the media before was a film with no sincerity. However, after I watched the film, I have to say that it is the one I have seen since this century. The best love movie. Andre Koster, a well-known film critic on the eve of the release of My Great Greek Wedding, film critic Andre Koster criticized the most, but after getting a signal from AOL www.uxiaspit.com he did not hesitate to turn his gun. The morality of the film critics is a piece of cake. Time Warner Group and AOL, the two old and new media forces, launched a struggle for a film, and it really made countless people who eat melons go crazy. My Grand Greek Wedding, what kind of movie is it? There is no doubt that many people who eat melon are interested ever since. Going into the cinema to watch this movie has become a natural thing from 3 p.m. onwards. The attendance rate of My Grand Greek Wedding has continued to rise, and many movie audiences have continued to praise it, and the box office has risen accordingly. The second update is sent. The minister continued to open the code in order to facilitate the next reading. You can click on the favorites below to record the reading record of this time. Chapter 256, The Confrontation Between the Old and New Media Forces, and you can see it next time you open the bookshelf. If you like Hollywood Begins with Animation, please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, Wetchet, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 252, Warner Chairman Furious. $17.5 million. This is the movie My Great Greek Wedding, which premiered at the North American box office on Valentine's Day, February 14th, undisputedly became number 1 in the North American box office rankings of the day. The second place is the movie Message in a Bottle, produced by Warner, which received 19.3% of the film volume and received $13.2 million in this contest between Zhu Ke and Time Warner. Zhu Ke won a phased victory, and it was a victory that stunned many people. The $17.5 million box office amount, if compared with the box office of those high-cost blockbuster films of more than 40 million yuan on the first day, is a very clumsy comparison. But you have to understand that it is just a love movie. A love movie can receive $17.5 million in its first daily report, which is an incredible amount. After seeing the report, Jordan, an old friend of Paramount Pictures, couldn't help but blurt out, "Awesome. Zhu Ke Wald. You can't imagine that you have developed to this level in just a few years. Even Warner Media has all the power. Under the circumstances, you can win. I have to say that you are good enough. If you ask the entire Hollywood, who first came into contact with Zhu Ke, that is undoubtedly is Jordan." In this Valentine's Day schedule, Jordan thought that Zhu Ke would be defeated after losing Paramount's Asylum and Warner's targeting, but he never expected Zhu Ke to counterattack. Man, that's Warner. No wonder Jordan is not surprised. Miramax Pictures president Harvey Weinstein's pupils shrank. My God, how can that be? AOL has 25 million users and is growing at a rate of 50,000 per week, with a market value of nearly $300 billion. It is the largest internet emerging media giant in the United States and even the world. How can it get together with Zhu Ke? Go with it. Is this world crazy? Harvey Weinstein can also be regarded as a senior practitioner in Hollywood. He has been in the world for decades and has seen a lot of wind and waves, but he did not expect that because of a movie, he was involved in two media giants America Online, Time Warner. It's just a movie, is it so big? Harvey suddenly smiled bitterly for a whole day. The two media giants came out together, involving as many as 213 media and newspapers. This is not much worse than the presidential election of the United States, Harvey murmured. It's not easy to mess with. This Zhu Ke Wald is really not easy to mess with. No, to be precise, if there is no accident in the future, no film company will dare to mess with him secretly, in order to make a movie in a small way. Even the two media giants, AOL and Warner, have provoked them. Which company will dare to take the lead in the future? Not only Harvey Weinstein, but also Shay, the president of New Line Films, who has always regarded himself highly, was silent at this moment. Damn Zhu Ke Wald, he really made him into trouble. Shay was quite upset in his eyes. Zhu is just a lucky young man, but now, he dare not say that in the competition between media giants, Zhu can participate in it and win a big victory. Do you think that a veteran Hollywood person like Shay can beat Zhu? The young people have emerged, so should we old guys abdicate unconditionally? Don't even think about it. However, the situation is better than people. Zhu Ke's action now really frightens many film companies that have lost their eagerness. These companies have more or less fantasies about Wald Pictures, believing that after losing Paramount's asylum, they may start. But now Zhu has sacrificed a big killer like AOL. How can they return it? The slightest thought was scared by his mother. AOL, with a market value of nearly $300 billion US. Weigh it, Time Warner Group, damn it, Chairman Steve Rose scolded. A small Wald Pictures has produced so many mods, and even AOL can stand up and support him. What is this going to do? I want to talk to Lao Tzu. Fighting, humph, hit it. In my life, Steve Rose, I started as a small funeral agency, entered the parking lot business, and then extended my career. I galloped between Wall Street and the mafia, acquired Warner Pictures, and then swallowed it. Whale-like annexation of the Time Group and single-handedly created the world's largest media group, Time Warner. Who have I been afraid of? In words, Steve Rose is full of hostility and domineering. He is not a rich second generation, born with a golden spoon. He is a model of starting from scratch. The starting capital is far behind Paramount's Redstone, but he can have today's level. He can fully deserve to be a legend. He has nothing to fear. Suddenly, in the huge conference room, a dozen senior executives from Time Warner Group were silent. No one dared to speak. Boss, please listen to me. At this moment, Barry Meyer, the vice president of Warner Pictures, stepped forward. Originally Steve Rose was the one who intended to speak badly, but as soon as it was Barry Meyer, he didn't get angry. Although Barry Meyer is not the CEO of Time Warner Group, nor the president of Warner Pictures, he is a person Steve Rose admires very much. Note, Barry Meyer has been in charge of Warner Pictures since 2000. Boss, our Time Warner market value is as high as $150 billion US, and we have hundreds of companies with more than 120,000 employees. In the traditional media field, we dare to be the second. Then no one in this world dares to say that we are the first. But, boss, for the sake of a film produced by Wald Pictures, are we really going to fight a new giant like AOL head on? I have to say, we may not be able to win, and, isn't it just a movie? He is young and vigorous, and he wants to win. Then, we will give him it. He only produced a few movies a year by Wald Pictures. How many movies does Warner Pictures produce in a year? If we really want to go to war, then no matter what the result is, we will lose a lot, Barry Meyer said solemnly. Forbearance is calm for a while. I don't believe that AOL can always protect him. www.uxiaspit.com to clean up him. We have a chance. The voice fell, and many executives now seconded one after another. Is it good for them to go to war? Besides, they don't believe that Steve Rose would choose a positive one. He said this now, nothing more than going down a step. Now Barry Meyer has taken the stage for him. You say, can he not take it? Humph, Steve Rose snorted coldly. Zhu Ke Wald, and AOL Steve case. You two guys wait for me. The third update is sent in order to facilitate the next reading. You can click on the favorites below to record the reading record of this time. Chapter 257, The Mad Warner Chairman. And you can see it next time you open the bookshelf. If you like Hollywood Begins with Animation, please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, Widget, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 253, The Box Office is Overwhelming and Unstoppable. February 21st, the movie My Grand Greek Wedding, After receiving $17.5 million at the box office on Valentine's Day, the next day, February 15th, thanks to the media power of AOL and Golden Dawn Entertainment Group, the box office again received $1,820,000, once again won the first place in the North American box office rankings of the day. On this day, Warner's Film Trust in a Bottle only reported $7.1 million in revenue, a drop of more than 51%. With this alone, AOL's power in the emerging media field has shocked countless people. At the same time, many people see clearly the infinite possibilities of internet media in the future. On February 16th, the movie My Grand Greek Wedding, North America reported $12.37 million. On February 17th, continue to report a collection of $10.06 million. On February 18th, reported a box office of $8.1 million. As of the morning of February 21st, the movie My Grand Greek Wedding has been released for a week, and the North American box office has reached more than $91 million. Number 1 in the box office rankings for 7 days, number 1 in the box office rankings of the first weekend, and number 1 in the box office rankings for a full week. My Grand Greek Wedding, with multiple honors became famous in the United States in one fell swoop. Word of mouth and box office are flying together. California Entertainment published an article. The Greek customs in the film are very different from the scenes in mainstream American films. The real warm family atmosphere, the relaxed and humorous dialogue, and the clever interpretation of cultural conflicts touch people's hearts. Los Angeles Entertainment News published an article. The Greek family values are used cleverly to create jokes. It combines romance, funny, culture, and identity discussion in one furnace. It is full of profound meaning, and the laughter is touching. The first 2 media newspapers published by California Entertainment and Los Angeles Entertainment, as Wald Pictures' most loyal partners, their articles can be said to be extremely flattering and praised, although they are not welcomed by the mainstream media, and even despise their unscrupulous and bottom-line behavior. Many movie audiences and people who eat melons just like their dog-licking style. They are really shameless, but why do I like to watch them play? This is the impression many readers have of the 2 media, California Entertainment and Los Angeles Entertainment. As for shame, haha, the presidents of the 2 media newspapers will definitely smile. And then look at the rising performance report with delight. Shameless is shameless. How? Why don't you make money if you have money? Since cooperating with Wald Pictures, the performance of our 2 media newspapers has continued to rise. As for the outsiders, they are completely jealous. You said, what should other media do? Since the audience likes to watch flattery, for the sake of performance, they can only collect money while ignoring the conscience and follow the chant. The rising box office, high scores of word of mouth, and continuous media reports have kept the popularity of My Grand Greek Wedding at a high level. In the afternoon, Zhu met with the 2 directors of My Great Greek Wedding, Zack Snyder, Joel Zwick. Hi, Zack. Because of our propaganda, you have been attacked by many media under Warner's and surrounded by negative news. I don't think it will cause you trouble. Zhu Ke laughed hearing this. Zack Snyder waved his hand and smiled. This is not a problem. Anyway, I have made a big splash for this. Zhu nodded. As previously communicated, Zack's mentality is as stable as an old dog. Joel, the movie My Grand Greek Wedding asked you to be the second director. In fact, you are the first director at the operational stage. You have sacrificed the honor you deserve. I think I should apologize to you. Zhu got up suddenly and looked very sincerely at the little old man in glasses and black baseball cap, Joel Zwick, in front of him. Hey, don't, I wouldn't be able to take over such an excellent film if it weren't for Mr. Wald to give me a chance. Director Joel Zwick also hurriedly got up from the sofa and said repeatedly. Joel Zwick is a young director who has been the director of TV series all year round, rarely involving movies. Well, even though he has filmed many TV shows, for various reasons, he still belongs to the middle and lower level directors of Hollywood, and his reputation is not obvious. However, he's extremely good at romantic comedies. At the same time, he was born in Greece and has lived in Greece for more than 20 years. He is the most suitable director for the film My Grand Greek Wedding, but, although the production cost of My Grand Greek Wedding is only $5 million, it is a small cost film, but Zhu has high hopes for it. Therefore, it was decided that the first director of the film will be the more famous Zack Snyder. Well, of course, Zack is named. In fact, the entire film was completed by Joel Zwick from the beginning of preparation to the completion of the film. Joel Zwick is the actual director of My Great Greek Wedding. Now that the film is a success, The honor of the director is enjoyed by Zach. You say, can Joel Zwick not think carefully? Everyone has fame and fortune. Director Joel Zwick, please accept my apology, otherwise I will definitely have trouble sleeping tonight. But I also ask you to rest assured, Zhu Ke sternly said, it should be your honor, and it will definitely be yours. I have already arranged it. When next Wednesday, my media power will rectify your name. You are my grand Greek wedding director in the practical sense. Thank you, Joel Zwick responded. At this moment, director Joel Zwick was a little excited. After all, directors like him who are in the middle and lower classes of Hollywood, who have been busy for half their lives and are still unknown directors, are as many as stars. Now Zhu has given him a chance to be famous. Can he not be excited? Oh, right. Suddenly, Zhu said again, Director Joel, starting from the end of this month, my grand Greek wedding will be released overseas in Britain, France, and Germany. Then I will have to trouble you to lead the team to participate in overseas exhibitions. Propaganda, screening overseas, trouble me. Suddenly, Joel Zwick was even more excited. What is the trouble? This clearly shows that Zhu gave him a chance to be famous, and only a fool would refuse. Director Zach on the side also nodded with great satisfaction. It has to be said that Zhu Ke is now in the control of the human heart and has evolved to a very high level. At 8 o'clock that evening, Zhu received a call from Steve Case, chairman of AOL, Mr. Wald. You must thank me for this matter. Without the participation of AOL, your company's new film would never easily defeat Warner's film. Steve Case was on the phone. Said in, thank you, that's it. The corner of Zhu's mouth raised slightly. You call www.wooksyaspit.com. It's nothing more than to confirm again. Don't worry. My Zhu Wald's integrity is well recognized. I can rest assured that it didn't take long for the two to end the call. Why does AOL support Zhu Ke? In fact, this is a deal. AOL supported Zhu Ke and competed with Time Warner in the media field, showing some muscles and letting the world see their power in the media field. Secondly, Zhu paid a price for lobbying Steve Case, and the price is not small. In order to facilitate the next reading, you can click on the favorites below to record this time. Chapter 258. Box office is overwhelming, unstoppable. Read the record, and you can see it next time you open the bookshelf. If you like Hollywood Begins with animation, please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, Widget, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 254, Spider-Man officially started shooting. 10 days ago, the chairman of AOL runs the company, Mr. Wald. Welcome. Although this is the first time we have met, I am quite acquainted with your name. Steve Case, chairman of AOL, got up to greet him personally after Zhu arrived. I am also very happy to meet you, Mr. Case. Zhu shook hands with Case, his entire face filled with excitement and smiles. Actress, there is no doubt that Zhu and Case, in fact, are not as happy as their faces, and they are all acting. What Zhu was thinking about was to persuade Case. Case was thinking, well, why are you looking for me? After some business talks, Zhu took the lead in making the topic clear. To be honest, I came to Mr. Case for help, Zhu Ke said solemnly. Oh, Case showed a slight smile. Zhu Klang laughed and said, my own Wald Pictures will have a new movie called My Grand Greek Wedding in the near future, but in the past few days, Warner's Media, and even its parent company Time Warner, they all participated, and they vilified our new film and caused a very bad influence. Therefore, I need to rely on your company's media power. Haha. Case shook his head and smiled. Mr. Wald, you have to know that Time Warner is the world's largest media group and can cover the world. Why do you think that I will offend them and choose to help you? It's hard work. A thankless thing. That's right. After hearing about Zhu Ke's request, the chairman of AOL immediately refused. The two media giants rushed into battle. What good did he have? No one is a fool. If I can persuade Trifford David and Francis Anka on your company's board of directors to support your acquisition of Time Warner Group on the board, Zhu Ke said lightly. Boom, acquiring Time Warner. As soon as these words came out, Case, who was just as peaceful as Mount Tai, was suddenly shocked. You can do it, but Steve Case didn't doubt it as early as a few months ago. Case, as the chairman of AOL, put forward a plan on the board of directors, that is the full acquisition of Time Warner Group. In this way, America Online, the world's largest emerging internet media company, will merge with Time Warner, the largest media group in the traditional field. To become a giant media group, the combination of the old and new media giants is bound to bring AOL to a new level. Steve Case called this acquisition plan a great plan. However, Case's proposal was opposed by a large number of shareholders. Among them, Trevor David and Francis Onka are the most opposed. Trevor David, male, 58 years old, was a farmer in New Mexico in his early days. As early as 1982, at that time, AOL established its predecessor company, called Kinsey, which was a company dedicated to the research and development of video control technology. At that time, Trevor David became an investor. The major shareholder of Kinsey at the small company level the following year, Steve Case acquired Kinsey. On this basis, AOL was established, and Trevor David immediately became a shareholder of AOL. The power of wealth quickly bursts. He turned from a farmer to an internet boss, and he was not unlucky. After all this was beyond his expectations. Francis Onka, male, 59 years old. In the early days, he was the first batch of employees of Apple, and later made a fortune in the financial market, and then resigned and left Apple to become a Wall Street investor. In 1991, Francis Onka invested in Mexico's minerals. It was unsuccessful, and he caught up with a Mexican military coup and went bankrupt. However, at this time, Francis Onka saw the potential of AOL, and immediately used his contacts on Wall Street to borrow a large sum of money from the bank to invest in AOL. After years of development, he is now a billionaire with a lot of money. Trevor David was born as a farmer and had no brains. He acted according to one rule: reckless. Francis Onka was born as a computer programmer and then devoted himself to Wall Street finance. He is a very cunning and shrewd guy. The reason why the two oppose Steve Case's acquisition of Time Warner is because they fear that their interests will diminish. Can you really persuade them to support my plan? Case asked incredulously. Of course, Zhu Ke spoke without hesitation. In fact, I have persuaded them, and they gladly accept it. Go ahead, your terms? No matter how Zhu Ke persuades David and Onka, Case is related to Zhu Ke's terms. Zhu Ke spread his hands and smiled. My condition is very simple. That is to support me on the My Grand Greek Wedding project and launch an attack on Warner. Moreover, you plan to acquire Time Warner. This is not exactly one time. Is there an opportunity for the other party to see your strength? This is a win-win. Win-win. It is indeed a win-win. Even though AOL can acquire Time Warner, is it okay to complete the acquisition? Of course not. The internal struggle of big companies is extremely fierce, especially the merger of two giant companies. Yes. Before the acquisition was proposed, let Warner see our muscles, which is conducive to the later unity work. I agreed to this matter, Case said heavily. Suddenly, Zhu Ke also showed a smile as for how Zhu Ke persuaded the two shareholders, David and Onka. Of course Zhu Ke paid a lot of money shares of LinkedIn, but not now. As an internet company, LinkedIn is an inevitable development trend for listing, financing, and development. Zhu Ke promised that David and Onka will have the priority to participate once LinkedIn opens a round of financing. Although this priority right to participate does not represent anything and is not worth money, it is a ticket to participate in the LinkedIn company. After all, if Zhu Ke expands shares and pulls allies, he will also seek big companies and big capital. But he really does not have the qualifications for the two of them to participate. A promise, in exchange for AOL's media support, is also profitable no matter how you think. Furthermore, when the internet bubble burst, AOL's market value plummeted. At that time, David and Onka wanted to participate in LinkedIn's investment in Time. It is estimated that they have no money. Mai is really smart. Zhu Ke can't help thinking. Time goes back to February 22nd. On this day, after Zhu Ke arranged the overseas release of My Grand Greek Wedding, he received a notice from Kevin Fitch www.uxias.com. The preparatory work for Spider-Man was successfully completed. The selection of the main actors and actresses has also been successfully completed. Boss, the funds are in place, the actors are in place, and the crew is in place, and now Spider-Man can officially start shooting. Kevin Fitch's tone was excited throughout the company. Who didn't know that Kevin Fitch was a loyal fan of comics? The reason why he joined Wald Pictures at the beginning was largely because of the superhero copyrights in Zhu Ke's hands. Zhu Ke nodded immediately and said, well, you and director Sam Raimi come to me immediately. I want to see the detailed shooting plan. Yes, boss. The second update is sent in order to facilitate the next reading. You can click on the favorites below to record the reading record of this time. Chapter 259 Spider-Man officially starts shooting, and you can see it next time you open the bookshelf. If you like Hollywood Begins with animation, please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, Watchit, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 255, Harry Potter Casting. A few days later, a shooting base under Universal Pictures, the well-known Spider-Man, officially started shooting here. The launch ceremony of the launch event attracted a large number of as many as 78 media from all states in the United States, who wanted to grab first-hand fresh information. Boss, there are 78 media outlets, which has doubled than we expected, Kevin Fitch exclaimed. Hugh looked at the hundreds of people in the venue, and immediately nodded. A while ago, AOL and Warner had such a fierce fight. Of course, Wald Pictures also followed the show. They can come to so many people today. It's not surprising, boss. I guess Spider-Man 2 will hold a launch ceremony again, and the number of media will definitely be more than today. Kevin Fitch was convinced. You're right. For Kevin Fitch's remarks, Zhu Ke extremely agreed. Spider-Man won in the original time and space, but achieved more than $800 million in the box office worldwide. Such a large IP naturally has an unprecedented appeal. By the way, are director Sam and the actors all here? Zhu Ke asked again. Upon hearing this, Kevin Fitch immediately believed in himself. Of course, they're all here, and they came early. After all, this is our first-line commercial production of Wald Pictures, so how dare they neglect? Really? When Hugh walked into the backstage from the venue, he met the film's director Sam Raimi, the actor played by Tobey Maguire, the heroine played by Kirsten Dunst, and Green William Dafoe, the actor of the Devil, James Franco, the actor of the Little Green Devil, and other major actors. Boss, Mr. Wald, welcome, Mr. Wald. Zhu Ke and Kevin Fitch had just entered the backstage, and all the people in the backstage, including the director and the leading actors and actresses, all got up and greeted Zhu Ke. After all, they are carrying the rice bowls Hugh gave. All sit down, let's sit down and say. Zhu Ke actively played the image of being close to the people. Hey, this kind of lofty, divorced from the lives of the broad masses of people, is really so cool. Director Sam, although I am the first producer of the Spider-Man movie, I am busy at work and may not be able to stay on the set all the time, so don't mind. Zhu Ke laughed. Understand, I understand. Speaking of which, why doesn't director Sam still understand? In fact, Zhu Ke is really busy. For a movie like Spider-Man that has been watched more than once in his previous life, Zhu Ke only needs to grasp the general direction. After all, as the second producer, Kevin Fitch is also the logistical butler of the crew, not a vegetarian. Hello, Mr. Wald. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to play the lead actor Peter Parker. A generation of Spider-Man. Tobey Maguire expressed gratitude to Zhu Ke and even bowed to Zhu Ke. Zhu Ke smiled and said, "Go hard. I believe no one is more suitable for the role of Peter Parker than you. Come on." Yes, Tobey Maguire said loudly. Zhu Ke smiled and said nothing. Thank. How much is it worth? In the original time and space history, Tobey Maguire's pay for his role in Spider-Man 1 was $4 million. Even if dividends were added, the total was $8 million. Starring in Spider-Man 2, the salary climbed to $17 million, which is not even a box office dividend. However, by the time of Spider-Man 3, he outrageously opened his mouth and asked the producer for up to $45 million in pay. As for thanking the producer for choosing him as Spider-Man, go to you. In the face of money, any thanks are imaginary. Lao Tzu is not a generous master. I won't give it to you. You can't kill me. Zhu Ke thought with a smile. Wald Pictures signed a remuneration contract with Tobey Maguire. The first film's pay was only $1.5 million, and they paid no dividends. For the second and third films, even if the pay has increased, it will not soar $45 million. The contract is signed. Do you want to go back? Haha. Even after Spider-Man 1 becomes popular, if you negotiate to modify the contract and increase the pay, it will definitely give Wald Pictures the initiative. You don't need to sign a trilogy appointment, but the actor is no longer used. Hugh is such a chicken thief. Similarly, for the main actors of the series, such as the heroine and the Little Green Devils, Wald Pictures has signed multiple film contracts. The lion speaks loudly with me. Don't even think about it. Zhu Ke vowed it didn't take long. The press conference of Spider-Man 1 has begun. A few days later, 1999, March 1st, Zhu Ke stayed in the office of Golden Dawn Entertainment Group, constantly looking at the recent reports of various subsidiaries. The corners of his mouth raised slightly. It can be seen that Zhu Ke is in a good mood. Boss, very happy today. Chief Assistant Alexander smiled. Of course, Zhu Ke said without hesitation, I just watched the news this morning. Tisk tisk tisk. With the launch of Microsoft's MSN chat software, ICQ's life has not been easy in the near future. Look, Their stock yesterday fell more than 5.6%. Immediately after reading the newspaper, Alexander couldn't help but laugh. Others don't know, but he knows the bad things about his boss in ICQ. Before I left ICQ, I told Weskow not to expand blindly, but to fight steadily. Now the retribution is coming. In the face of Microsoft's strong attack and market seizure, the consequences of ICQ's blind expansion appeared. It is because of the serious shortage of liquidity. They issue new shares, and the market recognition has dropped a lot. Zhu Ke shook his legs happily. Oh? How do you say ICQ lost? Alexander asked. Zhu Ke shook his head and said, not necessarily, but the probability is that you will lose. Of course, if I expect well, ICQ may be acquired by other major capital companies soon. Blind expansion, insufficient liquidity, coupled with Microsoft's strong sniper, ICQ wants to win this battle. It must seek external financial assistance. Who is Microsoft? That's a famous company that always gives you mandatory software installation. Under such rogue methods, who can stand it? Hey, let's not talk about it, let's talk about My Grand Greek Wedding. How many box offices have you got now? Zhu Ke was also a little surprised when he ridiculed Weister. After all, Zhu Ke was once one of the major shareholders of ICQ. Anyhow, boss, as of yesterday, My Grand Wedding in Greece has achieved a total of $119 million in North American box office. According to the marketing department's calculations, in the middle of this month, our movie will be able to exceed the North American box office of $150 million. After a long period of screening, the final box office hit is roughly between $220 and $260 million. Alexander Exchange reported. Zhu nodded. What about overseas? Currently, movies are being shown overseas, mainly in the UK, France, and Germany. Since they were released for 8 days, they have earned a total of $19.2 million in box office. At the same time, as many as 12 overseas countries including Italy, Finland, Sweden, Austria, and Spain, Wald Pictures, have also confirmed the release. Alexander reported everything in detail. Overseas distribution matters are currently the top priority of Wald Pictures. Zhu nodded and said, Alexander, please explain to Bill and Victor. In order to expand overseas markets in the early stage, we can transfer the revenue ratio to overseas local publishers. Yes, boss. For overseas distribution channels, Zhu Ke has worked hard. If you don't make profit, why should others let your movie be released? All his mothers are the ones who don't see rabbits or scatter eagles. Generally speaking, www.wuxiaspit.com. According to the different film markets of various countries, the box office revenue ratio of the 6 major Hollywood companies in major European countries is 29%, 41%, and overall it can reach 33% of the box office. But after all, Wald Pictures does not have the 6 major strengths. The box office revenue ratio of My Grand Greek Wedding in overseas releases ranges from 23% to 32%, which is much lower than the 6, Leave Away and Go Far. Zhu Ke sighed. A few days later, Zhu Ke, together with Bill Mitnick, president of Wald Pictures, and a working group of up to 15 people, arrived in London, England on a flight. The casting of Harry Potter has begun. The first update is sent in order to facilitate the next reading. You can click on the favorites below to record this. Chapter 260 Harry Potter Casting, Reading Record, and you can see it next time you open the bookshelf. If you like Hollywood Begins with animation, please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, Wetchet, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 256, Hogwarts Iron Triangle. London. A certain hotel, 7 o'clock in the evening. A group of 15 people including Zhu Ke and Bill Mitnick enjoyed a sumptuous dinner under the reception of Cindy, the director of the variety department of ITV. Dinner is mainly French and Turkish dishes. As for local British dishes, haha. British dark food, it is world famous, not unpalatable in general. Cindy, I'll trouble you this time. Trouble you, ITV? Zhu Ke raised his glass and toasted Cindy a glass of wine. No trouble. Cindy drank the wine in the glass, waved his hand and smiled. Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone was written by our British Lady Rowling. Although the book was first published in the United States, it is currently available in the British Isles. It's not so popular. It's said that even the royal family has many people who love to watch Harry Potter. Moreover, we, ITV, will assist you Wald Pictures to undertake the casting of Harry Potter, which is great for our overall ITV brand. There are also many benefits to the operation of the company. Zhu Ke nodded. It is indeed a win-win event for ITV to assist Wald Pictures to undertake the casting work. Oh, by the way, This is a plan polished by my team recently. Take a look. Is there any conflict with you? Cindy pulled out a stack of planning books from the briefcase. However, Zhu forwarded it to the old Bill aside without seeing it. Old guy, don't patronize and eat. Don't forget that you are the president of Wald Pictures. Zhu stabbed old Bill with his arm suddenly. Old Bill said angrily, don't worry. Don't you worry about it. Indeed, old Bill's decades of work experience allows him to easily complete the casting work. The next morning Zhu Ke led the team and arrived at the headquarters of ITV TV station. A meeting was held with the high levels of the TV station, and the final communication was made on the casting of Harry Potter. After all, before Zhu and the others arrived in London, old Bill had maintained long-term contact with the senior management of ITV. In the afternoon, ITV's Variety Channel, TV Drama Channel 1, TV Drama Channel 2, Movie Channel 1, Movie Channel 2, Shopping Channel, Children's Channel, International Channel. Since the afternoon, ITV TV station has as many as 17 channels, in different time and different programs, released the news of the Harry Potter casting in just half a day. The news detonated the entire British Isles. The Sun published an article for the first time. Harry Potter was born in the United Kingdom, and the actor selection was also in the United Kingdom. I have to say that Mr. Wald did a great job. The Mirror followed. The opportunity for the little actors is here. Who will be lucky to become the Hogwarts Triangle? Let's wait and see. Ut Weekly published an article. As of the beginning of March, the book Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone has sold as many as 980,000 copies in the United Kingdom, second only to the 1.25 million copies in North America. The total population of the island is far less than that of North America. This has to make us sigh the charm of Harry Potter. Now the film is about to be cast, which is undoubtedly a great event. Numerous media in the British Isles published articles one after another in the morning paper the next morning. Many people who bought newspapers were also very excited, especially fans of Harry Potter. Awesome, I want to participate in the casting. William, come on. You are 13 years old this year. Did you see the age requirement for casting in the newspaper? The age must be between 8 and 12 years old. People over the age group will not have the opportunity to participate in the main role. Oh no. Oxfordshire, England. A 9-year-old girl jumped excitedly at the first moment after seeing the casting news on TV. Real or fake? Oh my god, the filming of Harry Potter is about to start, and the main actors in the play have to choose from the British Isles. This is a chance to become famous overnight. Do not doubt local girls in the British Isles tend to mature earlier than boys, especially those girls who are aspiring to develop into film and television, and they become graphic models early. It is commonplace to cooperate in various crews, and it is a proper Xiao Jianghu. Emma Watson, believe in yourself, you can definitely do it. The little girl secretly cheered up. In fact, little Emma's parents, their eyes went straight when they saw this news. Emma, the opportunity to make a fortune is here. Little Emma's parents were extremely excited. In Western countries, it is not uncommon for parents to use their children as cash machines and arrange their jobs early. Dunlan, England. Daniel Radcliffe, who was only 10 years old, saw his agent and parents come by his side after starring in the David Copperfield TV series. The father solemnly said, "Child, don't you always want to be famous? Look, the opportunity is here." Mother, yes, our Daniel is so cute and handsome, he will definitely be able to join the cast of Harry Potter. The agent echoed, "I have friendship with the executives of ITV. I have already won the ticket for the casting of Harry Potter for you. Daniel, you must stand up for it." Daniel Radcliffe, who is only 10 years old, is a bit hoodwinked at the moment. However, he was still young and had no choice but to respond like a puppet. 5 days after the news of the self-selection was reported, only 5 days later, there were as many as 6,300 children aged 8 to 12 years old in the entire British Isles, accompanied by their parents, signing up for the election. Ha ha ha, Zhu, what's the matter? You have to thank us ITV Broadcasting Company. Cindy asked for the credit. Zhu Ke smiled and said, "Indeed, without your ITV's participation, the publicity effect would definitely not be so good. Of course, I also want to congratulate you. Recently, your ITV stock price has soared a lot." Haha, each other. Cindy and ITV assisted Wald Pictures in the casting work, but it is not a free service. No, the rise in stock prices is a positive aspect. Mr. Wald, thank you, Ms. Rowling. The author of Harry Potter, sitting on the sofa at this time, also got up to express her gratitude to Zhu Ke. When Ms. Rowling set up the film and television adaptation project of Harry Potter, She expressed to Zhu Ke that she hoped that the main actors of the film and television series could be selected from the British Isles. For this reason, she was willing to take the initiative to reduce the share of books and the series reduce the share. Of course, Zhu Ke agreed there are indeed a lot of good actors in the British Isles. Don't you see the British actors who have repeatedly appeared in various first-line productions in Hollywood? Ian McKellen, the actor of Gandalf and Magneto; Faye Wen, the heroine of Titanic; the hardest man Jason Statham; Belle, the actor of Batman. It is no exaggeration to say that British actors occupy a large share of Hollywood resources. Zhu Ke selected the main actors of Harry Potter and arranged them in the UK, not only to consider Rowling's ideas, but also for those outstanding actors, and more importantly, for the British market. The British film market is an important area for Zhu Ke to expand overseas distribution channels and plays a role of bridgehead. On the same day, Wald Pictures selected the director Chris Columbus for the film Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone and arrived in London. The second update of was sent, and the minister continued to open the third update in order to facilitate the next reading. You can click favorites below to record the reading record of this time, Chapter 261 Hogwarts Iron Triangle, and you can see it next time you open the bookshelf. If you like Hollywood Begins with Animation, please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, Widget, etc. Thank you for your support. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 257, Why Must I Choose You? M.R. Wald, Mr. Micknick, it's a pleasure to see both of you again. As soon as he stepped into the hotel room, Chris Columbus greeted the two of Zucker very enthusiastically. I am also very happy to see you again, Director Columbus. Zhu Ke shook hands with it. Chris, you are finally here. If you are a few days later, I will definitely grab you from home myself. Old Bill laughed loudly. Zhu Ke laughed and said, Director Columbus, you put your work aside today. I heard that you like drinking very much. I will die with you today. Have good wine. In an instant, Columbus's eyes lit up. Throughout Hollywood, he belongs to one of the directors who love to drink most. Chris, you can get our boss to bring out good wine to entertain you. You are the first person. Even Amazon President Bezos came to the door. Our boss is not so enthusiastic, Old Bill on the side said suddenly. Zhu Ke rolled his eyes at Old Bill. What do you mean? Are you stingy? For the arrival of Chris Columbus, Zhu Ke and Old Bill expressed a great welcome. He is a filmmaker with the same surname as the discoverer of the American continent, and has the same pioneering spirit as the Italian explorer. At the same time, he is also a director whose mission is to tell bedtime stories. He served as the director of the Home Alone series of films, showing his talent to the fullest. He served as the producer of the movie Wonderful Night in the Museum, and it has also won quite a high box office. As for the later Pixel Wars, I won't mention it. The properly bad movie is neither profitable nor pleased, and it is also on the Golden Plum. However, the flaws are not concealed. Looking at the entire Hollywood, during the 90s, Chris Columbus was the best director to tell the adventure stories of children and teenagers, and there was no one. Of course, his salary is also very high. The director's remuneration is as high as $9.8 million. Moreover, this is only the director's remuneration for the first film of the Harry Potter series. At the same time, invitations for multiple film contracts are not accepted. In other words, if you make a Harry Potter 2 movie and want to find Chris Columbus as the director, you must sign a new contract. 2 words, add money. He is one of the best teen film directors today, and he has the qualifications and confidence to talk to production companies on an equal footing. A few days later, March 9th, the casting of Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone has officially started. The number of applicants for the 8 to 12 age group is as high as 8,723. There will be 3 rounds of primary elections in 4 major British cities: London, Manchester, Birmingham and Edinburgh. That's right. It's the primary election, and there are 3 rounds in the primary election. The casting of Harry Potter with a total production cost of $130 million should not be sloppy. Once upon a time, Zhu Ke planned to directly follow the actors in the original time and space and copy them completely, which can save a lot of casting time and money. However, as soon as he thought about it, Zhu Ke rejected the idea. Isn't it also a publicity for the frantic casting work? Furthermore, this will also play a significant role in enhancing the influence of Wald Pictures' overseas brands. Hollywood is a commercial film center. If you don't have a lot of publicity work, even if you make a good movie, you may lose the box office. London division. The number of young actors in this competition area, accounting for 35% of the total number, there are 3,050 people will be here for the first round of primary elections. Naturally, the work of the primaries does not require Zhu Ke Wald, Bill, director Columbus, and author Ms. Rowling to sit down. The specific work is done by the staff of Wald Pictures and ITV Television. Can I be selected? Even if I am selected, can I act as the Hogwarts Iron Triangle? These two issues continue to plague the young actors who are participating in the election. Of course, the parents and agents of the young actors are even more worried. Participating in the Harry Potter movie, with a total production cost of up to $130 million is undoubtedly an opportunity to become famous in one fell swoop. Lucky guy, who'll get it? This topic is now being hyped up by media and newspapers all over the UK, attracting a lot of people's attention. 1 day, 2 days, 3 days. It took 9 days for the first 3 rounds of primaries. In this process, more than 95% of the young actors were eliminated, and the remaining number is less than 400. The cruel elimination rate has made the casting of Harry Potter more and more attention. In addition, during the casting period, the book sales of Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone have also risen a lot. At present, the cumulative sales of books in the UK have risen from the original 980,000 copies to 1.5 million copies, which directly surpassed the number of sales in the United States has been increased. This is a good thing in one fell swoop. Good news. Zhu Ke, in a good mood, wandered to the casting scene on this day, the 4th round of selection. Mr. Wald, boss. After seeing Zhu Ke's arrival, the staff at the scene stood up to greet him. The big boss is here. Can you not be enthusiastic? Do you want to get mixed up? You are busy with you. I will not participate in the work today. The specifics are still up to you. Zhu Ke waved his hand. Everyone hurriedly nodded and said yes. Who believes this, boss? Come here in person. All our employees are absolutely very excited. Please rest assured that we will do our job well. A Wald Films employee shouted. The big boss personally appears on the stage. Can't we still have the final decision right? It's a joke. What? Emma Watson. Zhu Ke saw the name Emma Watson in the list in 1999. The name was unknown, and it could be described as unknown. However, after the future Harry Potter movie is released, Hermione, one of the Hogwarts triangles, who knows who does not know, Emma Watson can be regarded as an actress who grew up beautifully with her role as Hermione. She has a high reputation worldwide and is regarded as a goddess by many people, but she is also famous for the sheer number of boyfriends and the chaos of her private life. The goddess in your eyes, the bus in the eyes of some people. This sentence to describe Emma Watson can be said to be appropriate. Not long Emma Watson was brought into the casting scene by the staff. A performance can be described as excellent. Of course, this is not to say how good her acting skills are, but to say that she fits the role of Hermione very well. After all, anyone who has watched the entire series of Harry Potter knows that from the 1st to the 8th, the acting skills of the 3 protagonists have hardly improved at all. Even with the increase of age, there are still regressions, which makes many people feel embarrassed. Why do you think I must choose you for the role of Hermione? Zhu Ke said. The so-called bystander before, at this moment, is simply fired. As for the current casting directors, do you have any comments? Yes, no one dares to say, I think I can. I'm so cute, Emma said in a daze. Not enough. Zhu Ke shook his head and said, you can't convince me for this reason. How much is cute worth? Emma Watson, I know you. You are Mr. Wald. You are one of the best screenwriters, directors and producers in the world. At the same time, I am also a fan of the Manchester City Club. We are both of us. This flattering Zhu Ke www.wooksiaspit.com caught off guard. Congratulations, you have entered the next round. Zhu Ke laughed. Thank you, Mr. Wald. Little Emma, but I have to say that aside from acting and private life, she is indeed a little shrewd. Not every young actor in the competition can flatter. Sure enough, none of the people who can make a fortune in Hollywood are fuel-efficient lamps. What's more, Emma Watson's future private life is so chaotic, and she can maintain a good reputation, which more and more reflects her shrewdness and the excellent team behind it. Well, it can be seen since childhood. The 3rd update is sent in order to facilitate the next reading. You can click on the favorites below to record this time. Chapter 262. Why do I have to choose you? To read the record, and you will see it next time you open the bookshelf. If you like Hollywood Begins with animation, please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, Watch It, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 258. $200 million at the box office. March 26. Since the start of the casting of Harry Potter on March 9, it has lasted a full 18 days, and the main actors have basically been finalized. Harry Potter. This role is played by Daniel, Ron Weasley, played by Rupert Grint, Hermione, played by Emma Watson. The Hogwarts Iron Triangle of the original drama has not changed. I have to say that the selection of people in the last Warner life was really powerful. When Zhu opened the casting of Harry Potter, he considered whether the choice of the main actors would change. However, when Zhu started the casting plan, after up to 8 rounds of selection, he found that Daniel, Emma, and Rupert really fit the role of the Hogwarts Iron Triangle. Think about it too. In the original time and space history, Warner started 10 rounds of selection in order to choose the role, and finally decided the candidate. Daniel's home. Do you have to sign a contract for the entire series? Daniel's father hesitated. Can you sign a 3-part contract first? Daniel's mother agreed. Boom. The agent slapped the table outrageously and roared, "What do I say?" You are thinking, without signing the contract for the entire series, do you think Wald Pictures will choose Daniel to play Harry Potter? Remember, this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for us, but for Wald Pictures, it can be substituted to replace Daniel. Also, the first film is less paid, so what? As long as the Harry Potter movie is successful, it means that Daniel will be famous all over the world. At that time, when the second and third parts are being filmed, although there are contractual restrictions, we can definitely propose to amend the contract at that time, and we are not afraid that they will not compromise, the agent said solemnly. What do you think so much now? If you hesitate, the production company is determined to replace it. Suddenly, Daniel's parents looked shocked in the face of production companies. They have always been in a weak position. At the same time, Emma Watson's home signed a contract for the entire series. Unlike the hesitation of Daniel's parents, Emma Watson's parents accepted all the content of the contract without hesitation. Just kidding. Fools will refuse. The $500,000 salary is a low salary in Hollywood A-class productions, but this is an opportunity. As long as we grasp it, there will be $100,000 in the future. Not only did Emma Watson's parents agree very happily, but the other role actors. Their parents and agents also accepted the contract without hesitation. Who dares to let go of the chance to become famous in one fell swoop? It really is a Chinese cabbage movie with a production cost of $130 million. Los Angeles, Wald Pictures, we have signed a long-term contract. That's good. In this way, in the subsequent series of movies, even if the young actors want to modify the contract and increase the pay and dividends, we will also take the lead and ensure that we are to the greatest extent possible. Interests. Zhu Ke smiled. Think about The Last Life, the 8th movie of Harry Potter, which is the eve of the last filming of the series. The 3 protagonists, Daniel, Emma, and Rupert, all opened their mouths. Not only did they demand up to $20 million in pay, but also the huge box office dividends are completely slaughtered by the production company Warner Pictures. Can you bear it? If they really agreed to their request, then Warner invested $200 million, and the money earned in the end was divided among the little actors, leaving only a little bit of profit for Warner. Is there any point in working on this? I will never give them a chance to speak loudly. If there is really such a day, Louds will definitely follow Warner's example and use special means to form losses on the books, so that you won't get a dime dividend. Zucker thought fiercely. Boss, this is the latest box office report from My Grand Greek Wedding you want. Alexander submitted a report to Zucker. That has to be seen. Zhu Ke laughed. Not bad. As soon as he scanned the contents of the report, Zhu Ke showed a smile. $201 million. My Grand Greek Wedding was released for 44 days, and the cumulative box office in North America was as high as $201 million. It currently ranks first in the North American box office rankings in 1999. What about overseas? Zhu Ke asked again. Boss, overseas, our box office has exceeded $100 million. If nothing else, the box office in North America can increase by $40 to $60 million, and the overseas box office can increase by $20 to $40 million. That is to say, said, My Grand Wedding in Greece global box office is expected to hit $360 to $400 million. Alexander exclaimed, I really shouldn't believe that a film with a production cost of $5 million can get such a high box office. He was shocked. In fact, the major film companies in Hollywood are also stunned. The movie My Grand Greek Wedding broke the box office record of North American romance comedy movies in one fell swoop. The production cost of $5 million The global box office is expected to be nearly $400 million. The profit ratio is up to 80 times. Although this revenue ratio is not the highest in Hollywood, it can definitely make many people go crazy. Only at the box office, we can make about $150 million plus offline DVD and videotape revenue, peripheral licensing, etc., and our profit is at least $250 million. Alexander said excitedly. $250 million, not to mention the small and medium-sized film companies in Hollywood. They are the top 6 in Hollywood. In addition to the popular films, few single films can make such high profits. Jealous, damn Wald Pictures, they are really lucky. I also watched the My Grand Greek Wedding stage play. Why didn't I realize that it could be put on the big screen? Damn, this opportunity should have been mine. Many film company bosses are jealous. Humph. Time Warner chairman Steve Rose snorted coldly. Slacken, go proud as much as you want. You will cry in the future when I get my hands free. The assistant on the side suddenly fell silent. Steve Rose didn't intend to stop there. He was determined to show Zhuke a good look. However, Zhuke is the same. Zhuke is waiting for the opportunity. As we all know, in 2000, AOL will offer up to $181 billion in the form of cash plus shares to fully acquire Time Warner's equity. The two form the world's largest media group company, and there is no dispute. Kind of giant enterprise, but this merger of the old and new media giants was evaluated by posterity as the most failed merger and acquisition at the beginning of the century. AOL's main business www.wooksiaspit.com is to provide dial-up internet services, but with the rise of internet broadband services, it seems to be eliminated by the times. Coupled with the outbreak of the internet bubble, it undoubtedly caused huge losses to Time Warner. This is my chance. Take advantage of this opportunity. I must cut a piece of meat from Warner. Let you know that I am not easy to mess with. Zhu Ke Wald. Zhu Ke swears to himself. However, while Zhu Ke was still waiting for the opportunity, Warner made a lot of small moves in a targeted manner, mainly for the upcoming 300 Red Pants of Wald Pictures. Oh, Spartan 300 Warriors. The first update is sent in order to facilitate the next reading. You can click on the favorites below to record the reading record of this time. Chapter 263, $200 million box office. And you can see it next time you open the bookshelf. If you like Hollywood Begins with animation, please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, Widget, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 259, The Matrix and Spartan hit the bar. March 31st, the long-planned movie The Matrix, under the full operation of Warner Brothers Pictures and the strong announcement of its parent company Time Warner, has appeared on the big North American screens, with a number of openings reaching 3,200 theaters. It is the movie with the largest number of cinemas since January 1999. According to insiders at Warner, Warner prepared a full $50 million in publicity funds for The Matrix. This amount is definitely not low, of course. The Matrix is also worthy of Warner's investment in this. On the day of its premiere, The Matrix achieved a box office score of $21 million. The box office reached $54 million in the first weekend of 3 days, ranking first in the box office rankings this weekend. The reputation is surprisingly good. On mainstream scoring sites such as IMDb, The Matrix scores above 9 points, and is known as a rare science fiction movie. I Love Shrimp, the best science fiction movie in the past 10 years. There is no one, Freud, one word is good, very good. Who would dare to say that The Matrix is not good looking? I drew him with a big mouth. Zyoma, I just came out of the theater and I am still very excited. I heard that The Matrix is a trilogy plan. Now I am looking forward to 2 or 3 movies. Black Cloak, Neo is awesome. Big shot Fran. I firmly believe that even if you watch The Matrix 20 years later, it is still a very exciting science fiction movie. There are countless movie fans on major rating websites and the official website of The Matrix, discussing movies frantically. The box office potential of The Matrix is amazing. Warner Brothers Pictures Vice President Barry Meyer personally gave instructions. I don't care if you use the above method. I want the entire United States to have only one voice in the near future, and that is The Matrix. Yes, everyone in Warner nodded immediately when the president of Warner Brothers Pictures, Kyla, was not far from retirement. Everyone knew that Barry Meyer, as the vice president, would have a high probability. In this case, no one would dare to do anything wrong. Well, to be precise, it's too late to phone Mr. Meyer. When our media department is promoting, can we criticize other movies of the same period? At this time, a media director raised a question. Barry Meyer was really taken aback. While promoting our own movies, we are always attacking other movies at the same time. Isn't this our usual operation? What are your concerns? Besides, apart from the other 5 Hollywood Big Six, we don't have to worry about it. Barry Meyer's words revealed strong self-confidence, but Wald Pictures' upcoming new film Sparta, the media director said in a deep-voiced new movie from Wald Pictures, you know, before the release of Spartan 300 Warriors, there are only less than 4 days left, and it belongs to the ranks of competitors. The head of the media department said again, sir, we fought a battle between the letter in a bottle movie and Wald's My Grand Greek Wedding 1.5 months ago. Now if we rashly start the battle again, who can guarantee the United States will there be any more interventions online, involving the struggle between the two major media giants? All Warner executives present hesitated. Even a big man like Barry Meyer dare not talk about war lightly. I want to report the issue of Wald Pictures to the chairman. Don't touch him for the time being. The other movies in the same period, as usual, Barry Meyer groaned. Yes, sir. It didn't take long. The news reached the ears of Time Warner chairman Steve Ross. Boom. Rose laughed and patted the desktop, and said, fuck it. We are Time Warner Group, the world's largest media giant. He is far from Zhu Ke Wald. I am afraid of him. Barry Meyer immediately understood. However, Rose had another message conveyed to Meyer cryptically. The degree of confrontation is controlled within a reasonable range. To be honest, Rao, as a tycoon-level figure, also had to consider AOL's influence. After all, when the two sides went to war, the other shareholders of the Warner Board of Directors were the first to not agree. Golden Shugwang Entertainment Group Chairman Zhu Ke, CEO Victor, Ms. Donna, President of the TV Group, Domino, the head of the music company, Old Bill, President of Wald Pictures, and Kevin Fitch, Vice President, all gathered together. Everyone, the purpose of bringing everyone together today, I must have guesses. Zhu scanned the crowd and said loudly, yes. It is to announce and distribute Spartan 300 Warriors with all his strength to respond to Warner Group's The Matrix. Suddenly, Victor and others who were present were shocked. Zhu Ke solemnly said, Warner is indeed strong and unmatched, but we are not a vegetarian. We have had AOL's participation in the last time. This time in the media contest, Warner is bound to have some control and absolutely dare not play yin. Yes. Therefore, it is not that we have no chance of defeating. The voice-fail CEO Victor nodded. Boss is right. As long as Warner doesn't play yin, we have a chance to win. The Matrix is excellent, but our Spartan 300 is also extremely good. Putting aside other things, this time we will use the movie to speak. Understood, Ms. Tang Na said. The UP TV network and WBTV network under our TV group will fully cooperate with the promotion of Sparta. Domino echoed. My music company here must fully cooperate. You must know that the theme song and episode of Sparta are all responsible for our Eminem, Beyonce, Britney and others. Cooperate with the promotion, we are duty-bound. Zhu Ke's clear attitude has been unanimously supported by the senior management of the group, Jin Shugwang Entertainment Group, which has subsidiaries of TV, film, animation, toys, peripherals, book publishing, sporting goods, etc., is an emerging media company. Although it has not been established for a long time, its strength cannot be underestimated. Even if it is not as strong as Warner, Columbia, Paramount and other media groups, no cat or dog can be bullied. What about big companies? If you dare to come up, I dare to smash your steel teeth. In addition to the Golden Dawn Entertainment Group, Zhu Ke also owns many companies such as LinkedIn, California Standard Bank, and is also a shareholder of first-tier giants such as Apple, Yahoo, and Amazon. Zhu Ke is not afraid of Time Warner at all. This time, the second competition between the two companies on publicity matters is not a low-cost romance movie, but a proper high-cost movie. www.wuxiaspit.com's Spartan 300 Warriors, produced cost $60 million. The Matrix, the production cost of $63 million. The production cost of these two films is not more than 100 million yuan. They do not belong to Hollywood's first-line commercial production movies, but they are definitely top-produced movies. As can be seen from the publicity costs prepared by the two companies for this. The next day, early morning, after seeing the overwhelming media news, other Hollywood film companies all shook their heads, and knowing one thing, that is, Warner and Wald Pictures, once again on the bar. It's really painful for the gods to fight. Ziyi, the owner of New Line Pictures, was upset. The second update is sent in order to facilitate the next reading. You can click on the favorites below to record the reading history. Chapter 264 The Matrix and Spartan are on the bar, and you can see it next time you open the bookshelf. If you like Hollywood Begins with animation, please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, Watchit, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 260, Sparta. Sparta. The Matrix and Spartan 300 warriors are hard to lose the most. It is definitely not Warner and Wald Pictures, but those other movies that were released at the same time. Zee, the owner of New Line Pictures, said, "It's really painful for gods to fight. This is definitely not aimless." The new film Flying Dragon, one by New Line Pictures, will be released on April 6 along with Spartan 300 Warriors. Facing the strong announcements of Warner and Wald Pictures, how much attention do you think New Line Pictures' Flying Dragon 1 still has? Unless Shay is also willing to invest heavily in publicity. However, it is clear that Shay is unwilling to spend this money, or only a small amount of money. Touchstone Pictures and Lionsgate Pictures, two Hollywood second-tier film companies, have new films released on April 6 and April 10, respectively. However, considering the current situation, the executives of the two film companies are quite depressed. Touchstone Pictures, "I wanted to make a fortune, but now it seems that it's a good thing not to lose money." Lionsgate, "My Lionsgate is okay. I bought a movie from the Berlin Film Festival at a starting price of $800,000. Even if Warner and Wald get into trouble, we still have a profit, but the income is definitely much less than the plan." Damn it, two second-tier film companies, Touchstone and Lionsgate, are still the case. Those Hollywood third and fourth-tier film companies, the movies they produce and release, seem to be reduced to the rhythm of cannon fodder, so they have gritted their teeth with anger. They don't have any resistance after all. Hollywood is a place where the strong are always strong and the winner takes all. Television, radio, newspapers, portals, instant messaging software, offline media, have all become areas where Warner and Wald Pictures are fighting. The effect is very good, but also a lot of money. The movie 300 Warriors of Sparta has not yet been released, and it has already spent nearly $10 million in publicity funds. Don't feel bad about money, Zhu Ke said. In Hollywood, even if you make a good movie, but you don't have the money to promote it, it is pure wishful thinking to simply count on the word of mouth to counterattack. Money is spent. Yes, boss. Alexander looked at the distorted face of his boss rather strangely, and thought to himself, speaking nicely, "I'm afraid it will be distressed and uncomfortable." Ooh, he guessed it right. Zhu Ke is indeed very heartbroken. Without Warner's involvement, the estimated cost of the announcement of 300 Spartan would be almost $30 million. However, now, if you don't spend $50 million, you don't want to get a high box office under Warner's suppression. At the same time, Hollywood big-name stars who participated in guest appearances in Spartan 300 Warriors have also helped propaganda. Matt Damon, "Very good, a great movie." Facing the interview camera, John Ned smiled coquettishly. "Yes. He starred in a Spartan movie, or a very cool villain." Jacques Phoenix is also very interesting recently. Jacques is very popular. After all, he starred in My Grand Greek Wedding, but in one fell swoop harvested $200 million in the North American box office. With his decent acting skills, he finally ushered in the honor of being added, and was evaluated by many as a new generation of young performers in Hollywood. Now the movie that invites Jacques to be the leading actor is not too much. The salary is less than $5 million, and there is no chance to invite him. Interesting. Of course it's fun. As everyone knows, I have a very good relationship with Wald Pictures. Even Mr. Zhu Ke Wald, we have known each other for a long time. I have participated in the shooting of many movies by Wald. Sparta. The same is true. If you ask me what kind of movie Sparta is, then I can only tell you that it is a movie about blood, honor, courage, and fearlessness. Faced with the interview that I remembered, Jacques Phoenix talked eloquently, showing a very celebrity appearance. Of course, the person who received the most attention in the entire crew is always Keanu Reeves. If you ask the hottest actors in Hollywood at the current stage, you might say that they are Tom Hanks, Tom Cruise, Will Smith. Well, you can name many male actors. However, if you want to ask the hottest actor this week, it is Keanu. Keanu, the hero of The Matrix, played by Neo, is famous all over the United States for his cool style with a long black trench coat and black sunglasses. What's interesting is that he also starred in the movie Spartan 300 Warriors. The hard work of Warner and Wald Pictures made Keanu the most popular boy this week. Wow, did Neo appear in the Spartan movie again? I haven't watched The Matrix, just can see Keanu's performance in Sparta. Watching the Spartan movie is nothing else The old lady is going to Keanu. The comments made by some movie viewers on the official website made Warner Incorporated very interesting. How, damn it. We promote Keanu Reeves to better promote The Matrix. How can Wald Pictures benefit? A Warner executive went crazy promote a hand for the competitor. Can you say that Warner can be upset? It's all crazy. The Matrix movie. How can you circumvent the male lead to promote it? In other words, every time Warner promotes Keanu, it is a promotion of Wald Pictures' new film Sparta. At the same time, the director of the Spartan 300 Warriors crew Zack Snyder, King Leonidas Viggo Mortensen, Spartan Queen Charlize Theron, Michael Fassbender, etc. The main actors have not been idle recently. They frequently appeared on TV shows and constantly promoted the movie Sparta. The propaganda time and time again brought the people's enthusiasm for Sparta to the highest point. In a blink of an eye, Spartan 300 Warriors was officially released in the United States. The Spartans never bow to the Persians. Warriors, prepare to fight gloriously to death. A new era has arrived. An era of freedom has arrived. The world will know about 300 Spartan warriors. www.wooksiaspit.com defending freedom and fighting to the death. 100 years later, 1,000 years later, we will still be remembered by the world, and we will be recorded in history forever. Prepare breakfast and eat a little bit for everyone. But tonight we will eat and drink in hell. In the movie Screen, King Leonidas played by Viggo Mortensen, inspiring speeches time and time again, scenes of cutting off the enemy's head time and time again, blood, courage, fearlessness, etc. are vividly displayed at this moment. Many male audiences simply love this scene. The female audience is also shouting and screaming. After all, the full-screen red pants are boiling male hormones. The first update is sent in order to facilitate the next reading. You can click the favorites below to record this. Chapter 265 Spartan. Reading record, and you can see it next time you open the bookshelf. If you like Hollywood Begins with animation, please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, Watchit, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 261, The First Day and Number 039, box office is out. Magnificent, a 30-year-old man, after watching the premiere of Spartan 300 Warriors, encountered a reporter from the WB-TV station under Jin Guang at the exit of the theater and was interviewed. Can you briefly introduce yourself? Visenkin Davis. He is the Ace show host of WB-TV Entertainment Channel. Oh, you are Visenkin. I have watched the show you hosted. The audience laughed and said, my name is Lyda Joe Miller. I am a lawyer in Los Angeles. You have just watched 300 Spartan. How do you feel about the movie? Reporter Wiesengen asked. Great. It can be said to be magnificent. In the market in recent years, it is definitely a very good epic blockbuster. Well, I feel it can be comparable to Braveheart. No, on the screen. Regulating, director Zack Snyder did a particularly good job, integrating live actors and animation worlds into it, creating a magnificent epic scene of war. Lawyer Lyda talked freely. Oh, would you introduce it to your friends and family? The reporter asked again. Of course, Lyda answered very simply and neatly in the following time. Reporter Visenkin interviewed many movie audiences one after another. Wow, are you asking me? A chubby housewife was extremely excited when facing the interview. Spartan 300 Warriors is really manly. Yes, it's just a hormonal explosion. Reporter Visenkin, the housewife continued, when I saw King Leonidas playing, the steel-like muscles made me dizzy, too manly. Moreover, after one Spartan warrior after another, when I was shirtless and wearing only a pair of red pants, the picture was full of impact, and I couldn't restrain myself at the time. Then Visenkin was also very depressed at the moment. What is this all about? I'm asking you how the movie is, but what are you talking about? Obviously, the housewife in front of me is full of majestic things with red pants, muscular men, and lower body. Who is this? Reporter Visenkin was speechless. Not long Visenkin also interviewed a group of 3 high school students who came together to watch the movie Boy A. This is the best R-rated film I have ever seen. Boy B, The Matrix and 300 Warriors of Spartan are both R-rated movies. And there are many scenes. I have seen both of them. If you ask me which one is better, I am absolutely sincere. It's hard to draw conclusions. Both films are excellent. Boy C, in an age full of passion, blood, and heroes, these words are far from expressing my love for that period. The golden iron horse has been buried in the Lois, and the former faces only in the incomplete statue. I have found a long-lasting memory, but the hero, passion, and blood are forever. I think the movie Spartan 300 Warriors is just right. Reporter Visenkin interviewed more than 20 audiences one after another. After finishing the material, he and the photographer quickly left the theater. "Hurry up," reporter Visenkin urged. "George, we must rush back to the TV station at 10 o'clock. The noon program will be broadcast. It is a very important material." The photographer nodded quickly. As an employee of WB, he understands the importance attached to Spartan 300 warriors from above, and the propaganda work must not be delayed. At noon, Visenkin inserted several interview videos from this morning in the midday entertainment program he hosted. "Dear viewers in front of the TV, we can see from the interview that 300 Warriors of Sparta is indeed a well-made, majestic epic blockbuster. The film reproduces the Battle of Winquin Pass more than 2,400 years ago. King Leonidas led 300 Spartan warriors. With all the reinforcements retreating, he resolutely chose to stand firm and resist hundreds of thousands of Greek troops alone. What kind of spirit is this to regard death as home? Honor is my life." Although at the end of the film, King Leonidas was annihilated, but the spirit of Sparta's courageous resistance survives. At the end of the show, interrupt the box office results. The box office data just got from Rita Accounting. As of 12 noon, the film 300 Spartan has received $5.72 million in the box office, which is better than The Matrix's $5.03 million. It currently ranks number 1 in the North American box office of the day, at this moment, in the office of the Vice President of Warner Brothers Entertainment Pictures. The Vice President Barry Meyer looked gloomy. He is angry. "Damn Wald Pictures, Spartan 300, when Warner Brothers Pictures President Kyla was not far from retirement. Barry Meyer, as a vice president, was a favorable competitor for the next Warner Brothers Pictures president. He single-handedly dug up blockbuster movies like The Matrix. This is time to enjoy the flowers, applause, acclaim moment, but suddenly out of the Spartan will be the perfect to destroy." The Matrix movie is not a small-cost movie like Message in a Bottle. The movie Letter in a Bottle has lost to Wald Pictures' My Grand Greek Wedding on the Valentine's Day schedule. If it is scheduled for April, The Matrix loses to Spartan 300 Warriors again. "Do I need 6 faces for Warner? Can't lose." Thinking of this, Barry Meyer left the office aggressively and rushed straight to the office area where the propaganda department and the media department are located. "I only have one request, take out our strengths and suppress Sparta to me. The top spot in the box office rankings in North America today must be us, and it can only be us, understand?" Suddenly, everyone present nodded and clenched their fists. The 6 faces, you can't lose again and again. At the same time, Wald Pictures Zhu personally sits in the town, directed by President Bill Mitnick, and is responsible for the premiere day of Sparta. Presumably everyone knows that Bill Mitnick, used to be the CEO of Fox Pictures in the 20th century. As far as the level of understanding of the 6 major Hollywoods is concerned, I dare to say that I have an incomparable understanding. Old Bill scanned the crowd and said loudly, "Our box office is currently higher than Warner. Then, in order to win us, Warner will definitely use a variety of methods to suppress us. I tell you, don't be afraid, their methods are nothing more than the same old things. As long as you do what I said, even if it is Warner, we can beat it." Guys, don't forget, The Matrix is the second weekend of screenings, and our Spartan 300 is the first weekend, which is the day of the premiere screening in the United States. What else can we do? Worried, today, we will win. Some impassioned words, regardless of whether it is useful. At least everyone present after being obedient. They all looked like chicken blood. Who doesn't want to win Warner for the second time? Zhu Ke got up www.wuxiaspit.com and also gave a speech. "Let me just say, winning Warner will double your bonus this month." Boom. If the words of old Bill radiated the spirit of everyone's unyielding, then Zhu's bonus stimulus completely inspired everyone's fighting spirit to the maximum. Money sometimes works better than anything. Early the next morning, the box office data on April 6 was released. Spartan 300 Warriors box office on the first day of $23 million won the first day of the box office rankings. The second update is sent in order to facilitate the next reading. You can click on the favorites below to record this time. Chapter 266 first day box office released, reading records, and you can see them next time you open the bookshelf. If you like Hollywood Begins with Animation, please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, Widget, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 262, Box Office Tied Together. Paramount Pictures, this is really shocking. Shirley Lansing, president of Paramount Pictures, put down the newspaper in her hand and said in astonishment, "Without the participation of AOL, With the power of the Golden Dawn Entertainment Group alone, it was actually able to shake the Warner Group, and the box office on the first day was still strong. Press Warner, Jordan on the side said, "Look at what is said in the newspaper. The Matrix is known as the best sci-fi action movie in Hollywood in recent years, and Spartan 300 is known as the best historical epic film in Hollywood in recent years. Undoubtedly, they are all excellent movies." For a while, Paramount Pictures was shocked, but also stressed why, because in mid-April, which is less than 10 days, Paramount's film The Secret of West Point will be released soon. At this time, Summer Redstone, the chairman of Viacom Group, the parent company of Paramount Pictures, sitting on the office sofa, let out a cold snort and looked gloomy. "Surely, Jordan, you can arrange to postpone the release date of The Secret of West Point," Leigh Shidden said solemnly immediately. Shirley Lansing and Jordan were taken aback. Jordan looked at Leigh Shidden with an expression full of astonishment. After all, no one in the entire United States knows how unconvincing Leigh Shidden he is and does not admit defeat. Postponing the release date means giving up on Warner and Wald Pictures and starting a head-on fight, means that it can't be beaten, boss. The production cost of The Secret of West Point movie alone is as high as $95 million, and the promotion expenses are currently spent millions of dollars. Now that the release date is postponed, it means that our millions of dollars in promotion expenses have all been paid. Is it really decided? Shirley Lansing looked at Redstone with solemn expression. The same goes for Jordan. Redstone snorted coldly, "Although I don't want to admit it, our West Point secret, simply from the excellent level of the film, really can't do The Matrix and Spartan 300 Warriors. I don't want to. In order to stop the loss in time and become cannon fodder, is it possible to rush up and do it recklessly?" "Yes, boss." Shirley Lansing and Jordan took a deep breath. Paramount is capable and can interfere with the movie's film setup and adjust the release date in time, but many small and medium-sized film companies in Hollywood are not so lucky. Adjust the date. What do we use to adjust the release date? We are not Paramount, not Columbia. We are just a small film company with less than 100 people, and the theaters will not compromise. What can I do? The gods fight. We are reduced to cannon fodder. April is a low season schedule in previous years, but this year is so hot. But the audience's eyes are on The Matrix and Spartan 300. Our movies don't have much attention at all. This is still making money. Each of the small and medium-sized film companies gritted their teeth at the thought of their own films released in April and the fate of being about to become cannon fodder. There is no way. On April 7th, Sparta won the box office champion of the day again. On April 8th, The Matrix relied on Warner's efforts to increase its box office by 5%, but it still failed to beat Sparta. April 9th enters Monday in the first 3 days of the first weekend of 300 Spartan. The cumulative box office in North America was as high as $61 million. In the next 3 days of the weekend, The Matrix once again harvested $32 million in the box office. It was released for 10 days, and the cumulative box office reached $102 million. However, when the time passed again 2 weeks later, the difference between the North American box office results of the two films was less than $5 million. The film 300 Warriors of Sparta has a cumulative North American box office of $143 million. The film The Matrix has a cumulative North American box office of $148 million. Hey, I can't suppress it. Time Warner Group chairman Steve Rose sighed. Go ahead and tell Barry Meyer to give up the attack on Wald Pictures. Yes, boss, things have developed to this point. As long as the eyes are not blind and the head is not confused, you can be sure that 300 Spartan is a success, and it is no longer the media force that can suppress it. It is a helpless behavior to give up attacking Wald Pictures and adjust its propaganda strategy. After all, no one can have trouble with money, not long. Barry Meyer, the vice president of Warner Brothers Pictures, received instructions from his superiors. Forget it. Spartan 300 Warriors, Wald Pictures, Golden Dawn Entertainment Group? Unexpectedly, in just a few years, they have grown to this point? Spielberg's DreamWorks, right, Barry Meyer, his face full of sorrow. In the North American schedule in April, Sparta and The Matrix are both R-rated films, and the production costs are also the same, and the box office data is also almost the same. The topic heat is also high, and the reputation of the two is quite high. It can be said that the limelight is on the rise, and it is the existence that goes hand in hand as for other movies released in the same period. Goo is reduced to cannon fodder. The tough Sony Columbia still clings to the 6 faces, does not withdraw the file, and brazenly insists on it. As a result, they do not believe in evil, and the new film can only be hit for nothing lost at the box office. Our Best Lover has a production cost of $67 million and a promotional cost of $50 million. However, within 1 week of its release, the North American box office was only $13 million. A big loss. Sony Columbia is heartbroken. April 20th, 300 Spartan was released in 12 European countries overseas, including Britain, Germany, France, Italy, Portugal, and Spain. This time, the number of countries that are released overseas is much more eye-catching than there are only 3 countries and My Grand Wedding in Greece a few months ago. The overseas distribution channel of Wald Pictures has not been completed yet, but whoever lets Wald Pictures make movies, it's hot. Capital is profit-seeking. There was My Grand Wedding in Greece www.uxiaspit.com. Now there is 300 Spartan, and there will be Harry Potter and Spider-Man in the future. The film market has been actively or passively opened up to Wald Pictures. In the words of the GGL Cinema line, the third largest cinema chain in the UK, no one will have trouble making money, not to mention that Wald Pictures took the initiative to lower the film's share. We have no reason to refuse. In the next week, Warner's The Matrix and Wald Pictures' Spartan 300 warriors frantically swept across Europe with high-quality. This wave of tornadoes appeared in Asia, Australia, etc. They have broken the box office records of R-rated films in some countries for a time. The limelight was in full swing. The overseas distribution power of Wald Pictures is also directly displayed in front of many Hollywood studios. The first update is sent in order to facilitate the next reading. You can click the favorites below to record the reading record of this time. Chapter 267 box office, and you can see it next time you open the bookshelf. If you like Hollywood Begins with animation, please recommend this book to your friends. QQ, blog, Watchit, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 263, Hollywood and number 039's third poll. Wald Pictures is able to complete the distribution of films in various countries and regions in overseas markets independently and without relying on the 6 major Hollywood companies. This is undoubtedly a big thing for the outside world. It broke the monopoly of the 6 major companies in the distribution channels of the global market: DreamWorks, Demon Films, Lionsgate Films, Touchstone Films, New Line Films. Numerous Hollywood second-tier film companies were shocked. How could he do it? Zhe, the president of New Line Pictures, sat in the office and was stunned for an hour before returning to his senses. Once upon a time, I was also ambitious. I created New Line Films with one hand. I wanted to become a new Hollywood hero, breaking the 6 major blockades in one fell swoop, and having a complete global distribution channel, making New Line Films a company that can compete with the 6 major Hollywood companies. The presence, but I failed. The 6 major Hollywood companies not only have strong strength in film production, but also have strong strength in television, radio, media, newspapers, animation, games, peripherals, shopping malls, real estate and many other fields. They are media giants. Faced with the 6 major blockades, I have compromised. Facing the olive branch they threw, I accept it. My new line of film industry, in addition to Touchstone Film Industry, Searchlight Entertainment, Artisan Entertainment, they face the 6 olive branches thrown by and the temptation of the global distribution market. They also gave up the independent development model. Joined the 6 under the command of a big company. Do I still have the courage to resist? No, no more. Zhe, the president of New Line Pictures, sighed with emotion and whispered alone, and his hard work experience over the years also surfaced in his mind. Are the 6 olive branches that easy to hold? As long as you accept the 6 good intentions, then in terms of profits, there will definitely be a surge. At the same time, they will provide strong support in many aspects such as the review committee and publicity channels. You only need to worry about film and television production. However, it is a chronic poison of bone chewing and marrow absorption. In the process of accepting the 6 good intentions, your ambitions and your company's shares will be swallowed up bit by bit by the 6 companies. After a few years of circumstances, you will definitely have no bones left when capital comes to the world. It is destined to bleed and eat people. Looking at Hollywood at this stage, excluding the 6 major companies, there are only 3 film and television companies: Wald Pictures, DreamWorks Group, and Lionsgate Pictures, which are still independently preparing for global distribution channels. Of course, there are some Hollywood 3rd and 4th tier film companies that have not been included in the Big 6. It's not that they don't want to, but that the Big 6 simply despise them. DreamWorks, we are behind, Spielberg said in a deep voice. Since the establishment of DreamWorks, we have been so energetic and attracted the attention of the global market. We are known as the #1 film company under the 6 major Hollywood movies. But, now, look, this is just a joke. Spielberg's face was full of bitterness. David Geffen, one of the big 3 of DreamWorks, shook his head and smiled bitterly. In terms of volume, we are stronger than Walt Pictures' parent company Golden Dawn Entertainment Group, but when it comes to the construction of overseas distribution markets, we are really inferior. The establishment of overseas distribution channels has always been a pain for DreamWorks. If you want to open up overseas markets, apart from joining the Big Six, you can only open the markets of overseas countries and regions with a lot of money and have a large number of excellent movies. There is no shortage of money in DreamWorks, but is there a large number of excellent movies? Even a director as strong as Spielberg can't guarantee that every movie he shoots is excellent. Zhu Ke Wald is a freak. David Geffen stunned. Look at the Lola run it debuted. And then look at the previous Fatal Bend, Human Removal Project, Sixth Sense of Supernatural, Shards of Memory, Peppa Pig, SpongeBob SquarePants, and now My Great Greek Wedding and 300 Spartan Warriors. They are all excellent Hollywood movies. With such a large number of excellent films, the film market in overseas countries and regions is simply left to him. I boldly predict, if the 2 major Hollywood A-line major productions of Spider-Man and Harry Potter are also successful, what pressure will there be for Walt Pictures' global distribution channels? For a while, Spielberg and David Geffen were silent at the same time. Katzenberg, who is in DreamWorks Animation, was also quite shocked at the moment. Zook, with such strong financial support, and a large number of successful films, might he really have a complete global distribution channel? Katzenberg's mind became active. He has not forgotten what Zook said to him in the coffee shop a few months ago. Give me 2 years, and I will have a comprehensive global distribution channel. At that time, you can try to distribute DreamWorks Animations to Walt Pictures for distribution. At the time, Katzenberg was a bit disdainful. However, as My Great Greek Wedding and Spartan 300 Warriors have succeeded in overseas markets one after another, Katzenberg can't help but believe it. Zhu Ke has the strength and ideas to break the 6 monopolies of the global issuance market. Compared with the active minds of the executives of DreamWorks, other small and medium-sized film companies are full of surprises. Our movies can also be released overseas. Yes, instead of selling the copyright to the Big Six at a very low price, it's better to talk to Walt Pictures. Our film rights are sold to Big Six, and to Walt Pictures. At the same time, Walt Pictures, as an emerging film company, offer more sincere prices than Big Six. In just a few days, the barriers of Walt Pictures were almost broken by Hollywood's numerous medium and small film companies. They are all seeking to distribute their films to overseas regions. Having an overseas distribution channel is completely different from having an overseas distribution channel is useless. Walt Pictures is now completely worthy of what it used to be. However, Bill Mitnick rejected them cruelly. Nick Wulan, Old Bill said to Zhu Ke, our overseas distribution channels have not yet been firmly established. www.wuxiaspit.com. The release of a large number of films will inevitably be mixed. In the short term, it may bring us huge profits, but in the long run, it will greatly undermine the establishment of our overseas distribution channels. In a word, your movie can be released overseas through us. But the premise is that your movie is good enough. I agree, Zhu Ke said. In this case, Zhu Ke really encountered a sufficiently good movie, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. In order to facilitate the next reading, you can click on the favorites below to record this, Chapter 268 Hollywood Third Poll, Reading Record, and you will see it next time you open the bookshelf. If you like Hollywood Begins with Animation, please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, Watchit, etc. Thank you for your support. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelists. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 264, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. Los Angeles, Burbank Area Hotel Director Lian, producer Zhang Ziqiang, and soundtrack master Tan Dun settled in the Hotel Ang Lee, needless to say, can be regarded as the #1 Chinese film director in Hollywood. Zhang Ziqiang is not a small name. He's a well-known film producer and one of the few people who can bring Eastern movies into the United States. Even Zhang Yimou Zhangguosi's overseas releases of Hero and Ambush on 10 Sides were the first promoters. Tan Dun, who is also a famous music master in the Chinese circle, has won numerous awards at home and abroad, and in the 2008 Beijing Olympics, he also participated in the creation of logo music and awards music. All three of them are famous Chinese. With the entry of U.S. capital, our crouching tiger, hidden dragon can open the international market, otherwise it will be extremely difficult to rely on our strength alone, producer Zhang Ziqiang said solemnly. Tan Dun echoed, although Wald Pictures is a new film company, its development has been particularly rapid in recent years, and its recent overseas releases are also impressive. If they participate, it will naturally be excellent. But now the question is, will they agree? Director Li Yan has a bitter face. Will Wald Pictures agree? He didn't know it at all. Why did he go to the East to shoot the Chinese film Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon instead of staying in Hollywood, America? Because his last Hollywood movie messed up. In March 1998, Ang Lee was invited by Universal Pictures to serve as the director of the movie Riding with the Devil. The production cost of the film is as high as $35 million, and Tobey Maguire is the leading actor. It stands to reason that the movie Riding with the Devil is a film about the American Civil War, but Ang Lee is a director who specializes in the genre of literary and artistic films. No, to be precise. The film was not released in North America at all. Universal Pictures immediately rejected Li Yang after watching the film Riding with the Devil. What are you doing? Can literary films make money? With a production cost of $35 million, can Universal Pictures be unhappy? Therefore, this time the Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon movie is almost a piece of Ang Lee's return to Hollywood. Oh, yes. Ziqiang, don't you have contacts with the senior executives of Sony Columbia? Are they not interested in Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon? Tan Dun said suddenly. As a well-known Hong Kong filmmaker, Zhang Ziqiang has been well-known to many overseas film companies, especially with Sony Columbia. Don't mention it, Zhang Ziqiang suddenly said with excitement. The little devil is a little devil, and he does things hard. In February, I asked them to say it properly. They even said that the production cost of less than $20 million. They absolutely unconditionally agreed. However, when I looked for them in early April, I turned my face and refused to admit it. Oh, Tan Dun frowned. A few days ago, I went to them again. They promised to participate in the investment, but they were only willing to contribute $5 million. This is the effect of my painstaking persuasion, Zhang Ziqiang said angrily. Hearing this, Tan Dun glanced at Li Yang, who was sitting on the sofa without speaking. This is Hollywood. Hollywood only chases winners. When your movie is successful, the bosses of the film companies will kneel and lick you. When your movie fails, I'm sorry, they will abandon you without talking about it. This is true for directors, actors, and producers. Ding ding ding. At this moment, the phone in the hotel room rang. Hello, who? Zhang Ziqiang picked up the phone in a bad tone. After all, he has nowhere to vent his anger now. What, are you really Wald Pictures? Well, okay, we'll have time the day after tomorrow. Oh no, we will have time tomorrow. Please rest assured, we will be able to show up in the Wald Studios building tomorrow morning. Anger, doubts, surprises, ecstasy, all kinds of emotions are constantly showing on Zhang Ziqiang's face. Zhang Ziqiang's performance naturally fell into the eyes of Li Yan and Tan Dun. After all, Zhang Ziqiang's expression changes are too rich, guys. You guessed it right, Zhang Ziqiang smiled and said, the person who just contacted me is Wald Pictures. We have made an appointment. We will have a specific interview at the Wald Films building tomorrow morning, Tan Dun said immediately. This is undoubtedly good news. As a Chinese American, Tan Dun is naturally aware of the recent development of Wald Pictures. The two films, My Grand Greek Wedding and 300 Spartan Warriors, have recently brought Wald Pictures into the limelight. Li Yang, take a stand. Zhang Ziqiang pointed at Li Yang and said. Hearing this, Li Yang, who has always realized the shyness, also said a few more words. Wald Pictures is an emerging film company and a leader among the second-tier Hollywood film companies. It is especially famous for discovering new directors and new actors. The three directors, Zack Snyder, M. Shyamalan, and Christopher Nolan, are not well-known directors excavated by Wald Pictures. Even Zack Snyder, a well-known figure in the field of advertising and MV, and his theater movies are the result of Zhu Ke's full support. There are countless new actors and actresses: Scarlett Johansson, Joaquin Phoenix, Charlize Theron, James McAvoy. The next day Li Yan, Zhang Ziqiang, and Tan Dun successfully arrived at the Wald Pictures building. Kevin Love, the director of the publishing department of Wald Pictures, and Kevin Fitch, the vice president, are personally responsible for receiving the three of Li Yang. Which really made them feel quite face. After all, Wald Pictures is now one of the top film companies under the Big Six in Hollywood. Total production cost $15 million. No problem, Wald Pictures, can cast all. After reading the script and filming plan of Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, Kevin Feige immediately expressed his stance, which really excited the three Ang Lee and was shocked at the same time. Mr. Feige, are you joking? Zhang Ziqiang said excitedly. What a surprise. Just say full investment. So angry, Kevin Feige solemnly said, if you say that you will vote all, you can trust the reputation of Wald Pictures. After the contract is signed, the first fund of $5 million will be issued immediately. Immediately, Ang Lee nodded again and again. The three of them all ate in America, and they naturally understand the reputation and credibility of Wald Pictures. Wald Pictures arranges directors and actors' pay, which is low compared with the same industry. But there has never been any talk of arrears in payment and dividends. Well, not once the credibility of Wald Pictures is well known. A few days later, Wald Pictures officially signed a contract to invest $15 million in the movie Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. After reading the contract, Zhu couldn't help but smile. The production cost was $15 million, but its box office in North America exceeded $100 million, becoming the first foreign-language film in the history of American cinema to exceed $100 million. www.wuxiaspit.com. The previous documentary was written by Robert Denny. 90s Life is Beautiful maintained its final box office of $57.6 million. Moreover, the global box office performance of Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon is as high as $205 million. Zhu Ke is not only interested in the box office revenue of Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, but also the influence of this movie in the future. The actors in the film are well-known Eastern actors such as Zhou Runfa and Zhang Ziyi. The more successful Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon is, the stronger Wald Pictures' influence in Asia will be. This is nothing short of fame and fortune. Zhu Ke laughed. The first update is sent for the convenience of reading next time. You can click favorites below to record this. Chapter 269 Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, reading record, and you can see it next time you open the bookshelf. If you like Hollywood Begins with animation, please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, Wetchet, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 265, ICQ asks Zhu Ke for help. The investment in the movie Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon was an unexpected surprise for Zhu Ke. After all, the film's producer Zhang Ziqiang has a deep relationship with Sony Columbia. Before the contract was signed, Zhu Ke didn't think he could cut off from Sony. Offending a Warner family is already awful enough. If you offend Sony Columbia again, then does Zhu want to hang out in Hollywood? Zhu Ke still has this self-knowledge. I don't know what is wrong with Colombian executives, so they are stingy in investing. Otherwise, how could Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon belong to my Wald Pictures, Sony Columbia? Nice guy. Zhu Ke grinned open. Boom. At this moment, a knock on the office door rang. The chief assistant Alexander entered the office with a bunch of documents. What's the matter? Zhu asked. Boss, there has just been news from Germany that the tax rebate for the two films Spider-Man and Harry Potter has been completed. Pictures account. Hearing this, Zhu Ke immediately raised his mouth slightly. Tax rebate. Germany is a country that many Hollywood film companies love very much, not because of tourism and human factors, but because of a German tax rebate policy that supports the film industry. This tax rebate policy is aimed at attracting foreign capital to participate in film shooting in Germany and promote the development of the German film industry. However, this favorable policy was taken advantage of by Hollywood studios. For example, the Spider-Man film set up by Wald Pictures first sold the film and television rights to the German Monterey Company, and then Monterey Company declared a tax refund to the relevant German authorities. The production cost of $140 million was able to apply for 10% tax rebate, which is $14 million. After waiting for the funding of $14 million, the German Monterey Company sold a copyright of Spider-Man back to Wald Pictures at a price of $1 million. With this change of hands, before the Spider-Man movie started, Wald Pictures made a return of $14 million. You said, can the major Hollywood studios dislike this policy? Love it. This is simply blatantly exploiting loopholes in laws and policies. The relevant German authorities responsible for tax refunds have repeatedly gritted their teeth and wanted to cancel this policy. After all, no one likes to give money for nothing. However, as far as Zhu Ke knows, this policy will still exist until 2020, when Zhu Ke crosses the time. Boss, this is the specific data. Take a look. Alexander submitted a copy of information to Zhu Ke. Spider-Man successfully refunded $14 million in tax. Harry Potter successfully refunded $13.5 million in tax. Of course, the German Monterey Company, as a partner and a local snake, also received a total price of $2 million in return. Yes, this time for 2 movies. The successful return of more than $20 million. Zhu Ke Alexander smiled and said, "It is because our group is now strong enough, otherwise the German vampires will not cooperate with us." Think about the original Spartan 300 warriors. Isn't it that they failed to successfully apply for tax refunds? Relevant departments in Germany have restrictions on the amount of tax refunds handled each year. Not everyone can apply for a tax refund without the participation of the German local snake. You can take a look at the tax refund, not to mention Wald Pictures. Even the Big Six and Hollywood handle tax refunds in Germany, and they have to rely on them. Zhu Ke smiled and said, "We can't look down on those vampires either. Without them, we would not be able to apply for a tax refund. Besides, there will be more opportunities for cooperation in the future." Alexander nodded and said, "Boss, in addition to the tax refund, I also received an invitation from ICQ this morning, inviting you to participate in the reception of ICQ's 3rd anniversary on May 16th. ICQ's 3rd anniversary reception." Zhu couldn't help but blurt out, "What does Visker want to do? Is it to disgust me?" No wonder Zhu Ke didn't think so. 1 month ago, on March 28, ICQ held a cocktail party for the 1st anniversary of the Nasdaq listing. They did not invite the founder of Zhu Ke to participate. This time, for the 3rd anniversary of the establishment of ICQ, why did they invite Zhu Ke? Besides, Zhu Ke's shares in ICQ are now all sold. The sale is clean. Now they send an invitation. You say, can Zhu Ke not think about it? "Boss, do you accept the invitation or refuse them?" Alexander asked. Zhu Ke didn't answer it the first time, but thought about it for ICQ. Zhu Ke does not deny that there is emotion. After all, in 1996, the successful shareholding of ICQ was one of Zhu Ke's most successful investments after crossing. During his tenure as the chief creative officer of ICQ, Zhu Ke had repeatedly advised and contributed a lot and devoted a lot of effort. Of course, it also brought huge returns for Zhu Ke. The angel round of investment, subsequent A and B rounds of financing, invested $8 million back and forth, bringing Zhu Ke several $100 million in capital. As for the contradiction with Visker and others, I won't say much. The current ICQ, haha, the situation is not so good. Its biggest competitor, Microsoft's MSN chat software, is frantically grabbing the ICQ instant messaging market. At the same time, in overseas countries and regions, there are also local chat software rising, constantly squeezing ICQ's living space. It is no exaggeration to say that the good days of ICQ are over. It can even be said that the situation is precarious. If you are not careful, you will be in a crisis of bankruptcy. "Alexander, you reply to ICQ, saying that I will be there by then." Zhu Ke said, "Yes, boss." "Wait." Zhu Ke stopped Alexander and said, "You send them another invitation to invite Visk to participate in the celebration banquet of 300 Spartans and my great Greek wedding on May 18th. ICQ Company, Chairman, Mr. Wald replied over there, saying that he will attend our 3rd anniversary reception. Vatihu, the vice president and one of the founders, reported hearing that, UU reading www. The chairman of uucanchu.com, Visk, clenched his fist immediately. Howisig's sad face showed a smile, and he sighed in relief. Now ICQ's funds are tight, and the opponents are also aggressive. We can only pin our hopes on Zhu Ke, and hope he still reads ICQ's affection, can help us, otherwise we may not be able to overcome this difficulty. Mr. Wald, will you help us? Vardy smiled bitterly. You must know that Zhu Ke's withdrawal from ICQ was the result of their persecution. Now that ICQ is not working, I turn to Zhu Ke for help. What is this? If you don't try, how do you know the result? Besides, we have no more retreat. Wester gritted his teeth in order to facilitate the next reading. You can click favorites below to record the reading record of this time. Chapter 270 ICQ asks Zhu Ke for help, and you can see it next time you open the bookshelf. If you like Hollywood Begins with Animation, please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, Wedget, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 266, Reporter besieged Zhu Ke. Time flies quickly in a blink of an eye. It was May 15th. Today is a big day, especially for ICQ. Today is the third anniversary of the establishment of ICQ. ICQ is the world's first communication software. From the beginning of its establishment, there were only 5 people: Wissig, Waddy, Goldfinger, Ann Namer, and Zucker. The initial capital for the start was less than $1 million. However, it caught up with the wave of the Internet era. Even after the launch of ICQ's communication software, it immediately responded globally. With unprecedented creativity, it soon had a large number of users all over the world, even in Asia where the Internet was not well developed at that time. The number of users in the market also accounts for 70%. On March 28, 1998, ICQ was listed on Nasdaq vigorously. The stock issue price was $39. However, it soared to $52 as soon as the market opened. Over the whole day, ICQ's stock has fluctuated, but the overall gains are gratifying, with a peak of $109 on the day and $92 at the close in just one day. ICQ's market value reached $6 billion as of May 1999. Looking at the development trajectory of ICQ, it is an undoubted internet wealth myth, and its legendary degree is not much worse than that of giant companies such as Amazon, Yahoo, and Dell, even though it is a little lonely now, and it has encountered the challenge of instant messaging software developed by companies such as Microsoft, and it is also a large company with a market value of up to $7.2 billion. Therefore, the third anniversary reception hosted by ICQ has still attracted the attention of countless media all over the world. This posture is not small. As soon as Zhu Ke arrived in Silicon Valley, he encountered many reporters inside and out. There was a dense crowd, and Zhu Ke's 12 security guards with live ammunition guarded Zhu Ke tightly, intercepting a group of media reporters outside. Mr. Wald, please say a few words. As the founder of ICQ, this is the first ICQ reception you participated in after you withdrew from ICQ. Would you not comment on it? Mr. Wald, in the half-month period of May, ICQ's stock price has blown 3 times. Facing a huge challenge, wouldn't you tell me? Please go and express your opinion. Although the reporters were intercepted by the security guards, in pursuit of the news, they poured in one after another, while shouting horse news is money. Without first-hand news, the boss and editor-in-chief of their media company will never let them go. Bodyguard Zhao Wushuang said solemnly, "Boss, there are too many reporters. We will you to leave the scene quickly." "Do not." Zhu Ke shook his head and said, "Before I arrived here, I knew that the media reporters would be stalking. Even if I leave now, they will not give up." This, Zhao Wushuang hesitated to look at the reporters who looked like crazy dogs on the periphery. Zhu Ke immediately gave him a relieved look, and Zhuan even shouted, "My time is limited. I can only give you 3 minutes. Everyone is in order." "Okay, 3 minutes." Although the reporters were not satisfied, it was the best thing that Zhu Ke was able to accept the interview. Suddenly, the noisy scene became quiet. Zhu Ke scanned the crowd, then pointed to a beautiful reporter in a red trench coat in the front row. "Just you." Hearing this, the beautiful reporter immediately suppressed his excitement and said, "Mr. Wald, hello. I am the reporter of Bloomberg Finance, Vassell. As we all know, you completed it in July last year. After the withdrawal of ICQ shares, I have not had any business dealings with ICQ since then. What are your reasons for coming to attend the ICQ third anniversary reception this time? This issue is undoubtedly a concern of many journalists." Zhu Ke smiled and said, "Although I withdrew from ICQ, don't forget, I am one of the founders of ICQ. It is just like my child. Now I am attending my child's 3rd birthday. Is there a problem?" Soon, Zhu Ke chose a second reporter. "Mr. Wald, this is Billy Wilson, a reporter for the City News. What is your opinion on the recent half-and-half ICQ share price fuse event?" The reporter asked. Zhu Ke smiled and said, "What do I think? I am not a shareholder of ICQ anymore." Of course, the reporters present will not be satisfied with this answer. When you see, Zhu also knows. I'll just say a few more words. ICQ has 3 circuit breakers in the Nasdaq stock market recently. The cause is that it originated from ICQ's financial statements for the first quarter of this year. I paid a little attention. ICQ's profit in the first quarter of this year was $23.9 million, compared with $38.2 million in the fourth quarter of last year, an overall decrease. This is also the source of the recent refusing of ICQ. Of course, you will definitely ask about the challenges of Microsoft's MSN and the local instant messaging software of other countries and regions to ICQ. Do you want to ask this? When the voice fell, everyone nodded like garlic. However, Zhu spread his hands and said, "Please, I don't have an instant messaging software company under my banner. I have been busy with the release and publicity of my Grand Greek wedding and 300 Spartan recently. Even the construction of overseas distribution channels, I must always pay attention to it. It can be said to be very busy. You said how much I can understand about the global instant messaging market today, but you," a reporter wanted to follow up, but was interrupted by Zhu Ke's wave. Zhu Ke said, "I never publish the dynamics of things that I don't understand." In the words, Zhu Ke is full of strength. "You are a reporter, do I have to bird you?" Zhu Ke is the owner of an entertainment company, but he is not a star actor or director. He is a behind-the-scenes worker. He doesn't like to show his face. If you dare to get rid of Liu Zi, then wait for the court's subpoena. Question 1. Mr. Wald, according to people familiar with the matter, the management team such as Wiest intends to call you to re-employ ICQ. What do you think? Zhu Ke smiled and said, "Inform people. I don't know myself, don't make trouble." Question 2. ICQ has taken a bold step since it went public last year. In just 1 year, it has acquired 12 American companies, and at the same time it has also established or acquired 17 companies overseas. However, as of the beginning of May this year, according to the information shows that as many as 9 subsidiaries have gone bankrupt and reorganized. Can you comment on it? "Oh, so many subsidiaries?" Zhu Ke made a startled expression and smiled. "I don't know what, how do you ask me to answer? And you also know that although I have established many subsidiaries, I have no experience of bankruptcy and reorganization. I can't make an answer." Zhu Ke gave the reporters 3 minutes to ask questions. However, Zhu Ke answered the question and answered the question. He ignored the obstacles of the security team and chatted with them for more than 10 minutes. Generally speaking, the media reporters who have blocked Zhu are still very satisfied with Zhu's answer even if there are some problems. Zhu avoids the most important problems at dusk. Less than half an hour before the reception officially started, Zhu Ke had already led the team to the designated site. "Hi, Zhu." Just stepping into the venue, and before sitting down, one person greeted Zhu Ke. "The person here is Rupert Murdoch, the chairman of News Corporation." Of course, there is a Chinese woman beside him. "Hello, Mr. Murdoch, and Ms. Wendy Deng." Zhu Ke shook hands. "That's right. This Chinese woman living next to Murdoch is surprisingly the third famous Mrs. Murdoch in the future. Wendy Deng, of course. The two are not married yet, but it's coming soon. The wedding date is in June, and Zhu Ke also received a wedding invitation. Mr. Murdoch, still so energetic, makes my back quite admired." Zhu Ke laughed. Murdoch shook his head and said, "I am old, how can I compare to your young people? And www.wooksyaspit.com, you have done a good job recently, and you cleaned up Steve Rose of Warner. This old guy is leaning on the old to sell his old. I've long wanted to clean him up." Zhu Ke said, "The hero sees the same thing. Steve Rose, the chairman of Time Warner Group, has always acted very domineering, and many people are unhappy with him. It can be explained why the 6 Hollywood companies did not intervene in Zucker's case against Warner Group. The sordidness between the big 6 is deeper than Zhu Ke thought." Zhu was not surprised to see Murdoch here. After all, ICQ is also a well-known large company in the United States, and Murdoch's News Corporation has a lot of shares in ICQ. On a day like today, Zhu felt strange if he didn't show up. The first update of was sent, but it was too late. In order to facilitate the next reading, you can click on the favorites below to record the reading record of this time. Chapter 271 Reporter contains Zhu Ke, and you can see it next time you open the bookshelf. If you like Hollywood Begins with Animation, please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, Widget, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 267, It in number 039, S a big step, It in number 039, S an egg. Mr. Murdoch, I learned from the media this morning that ICQ has successively acquired 29 companies in a short period of 1 year since it went public on Nasdaq last year. What is going on? Zhu chatted with Rupert Murdoch, and they came to ICQ. Murdoch's complexion changed slightly after drinking a sip of champagne. He sighed and said, "We are also to blame for being so eager for quick success." Representatives of all parties on the board of directors determined that relying on ICQ's huge number of users to attract other industries can achieve rapid and large profits, draining other industries. There is no problem. Zhu frowned. ICQ is an instant messaging software. When the video chat and voice chat technology has not yet been implemented, text chat is mainly used. Its own means of profitability are extremely limited, and it is nothing more than the user's membership handling and the income from undertaking advertisements. However, the number of users owned by ICQ is as many as hundreds of millions, with ICQ chat software as the center, radiating industries such as film and television, beverages, clothing, food, games, music, etc. It is bound to attract a large number of users in a very short time, thereby achieving rapid profitability. This is how Tencent QQ Group made its fortune. The key to the problem is that we are too anxious. Whether it is the management represented by Visker and Vardy, or the shareholder representative group of Sequoia Capital, Goldman Sachs and My News Corporation, they will spread too much. In 1 year, 29 companies were acquired all over the world, covering many industries including film and television, games, media, magazines, toys, food, clothing, finance, banking. Murdoch said solemnly. Zook, do you know how much it cost? How much? Zhu Ke was curious. $5.8 billion. Murdoch language is not surprising and endless, damn it. At this moment, Zhu Ke, who had been accustomed to big winds and waves, couldn't help being surprised. The capital of $5.8 billion completely surpassed Zhu Ke's 4-year net worth. Impossible. The acquisition of 29 companies cost $5.8 billion. Zhu Ke blurted out. No. Murdoch shook his head and said, the acquisition of 29 companies cost a lot of money, and the subsequent integration investment adds up to $5.8 billion. But, do you know how long ICQ has not been updated? Zhu Ke shook his head and said, I don't know. But when I did not leave ICQ and served as the chief creative officer, I have given instructions. In 2 to 3 months, ICQ must be updated on a small scale, and it must be done once in 10 to 12 months. Big update to keep users fresh all the time. Well, didn't Visker do this? He's a fart. Murdoch cursed in a low voice. From the time of listing to the present, ICQ has been updated twice in 15 months, and the rate is small, and there is no creative update? Hearing this, Zhu Ke shook his head straight. A piece of software cannot maintain a certain degree of freshness, especially when there are other competitors. It is undoubtedly the way to die. Moreover, Zhu also learned from Murdoch that the board of directors is quite dissatisfied with a management team such as Visker and Vardy. Since the fortune of ICQ, Wisgram has continuously invested in new internet companies while operating ICQ. Within a year or so, the number of internet companies invested in as many as 40. Among the many companies invested in, there is a graphics processing software company, which also went public on the Nasdaq in early February this year. Weiss owns 13% of the company's shares, bringing him $40 million in profits ever since. Weiss is a little bit off-putting. In that case, you are really dissatisfied with Visker and Vardy. Zhu joked. Hearing this, Murdoch gave Zhu Ke an angry look, ended the chat with Murdoch, and in the following time, Zhu chatted with other visitors: IBM executives, Taiwei Schindler, Intel executives, Smith Williams, Hewlett-Packard executives, Danam Lito, chairman of Oracle, Larry Ellison, Dell boss, Dell. As many as a dozen people waited and talked with Zhu Ke commercial, especially Larry Ellison. He left a very deep impression on Zhu, because his female partner is so beautiful. Larry, you old fellow. Where did you find such a beautiful female companion? Zhu stabbed him with his arm. Haha. Larry Ellison suddenly excitedly said, MV. I will tell you that since the beginning of this year, I have changed 9 female partners. You are such a livestock. Zhu Ke's eyebrows trembled. Haha. Thanks for the compliment, Larry Ellison said again. I heard Jobs say yesterday that you increased your holdings of Apple stock last month. Zhu nodded and said, there's nothing to hide. Although I am upset with Jobs, I am optimistic about Apple. Larry Ellison teased Zhu, and in front of Zhu, he slapped his beautiful female partners severely, which made Zhu extremely unhappy. Old guy, what a dandy. Looking at the big names in the internet and science and technology fields in the United States, Larry Ellison is the most crazy about beauty. He doesn't want Jobs, Gates and others to sneak and hide. He dared to be in front of the media. Said that his biggest hobby is hooking up with beauties. Listen, how many American billionaires are like him? Even Zhu is cautious when stealing food. Not long afterwards, under the auspices of Wisger, the cocktail party for the 3rd anniversary of the establishment of ICQ officially began. Wiesig made a speech in front of hundreds of guests. ICQ was founded on May 15, 1996. It has been a bumpy and difficult road and has come to today. Everyone in our team has invested 12 points of energy. Every one of us at ICQ should be proud and proud. From the beginning there were only a few people, to today we have 27,000 employees worldwide, from a small company with a value of less than 1 million to a giant company with a market value of up to $7.2 billion and an instant messaging hegemon, from a company to a large enterprise with more than 40 subsidiaries with ICQ as the main body. Every step we take is related to the pulsation of the times and involves changes in the technological network. Guests, as the chairman of ICQ, I would like to welcome you. When the voice fell, it was naturally applause even though ICQ has been a bit bad recently. The people invited are all spectators. And they will definitely not embarrass ICQ and others at this time. Although I know whether ICQ will win this battle in the field of instant messaging. If you win, then there will naturally be more opportunities for cooperation in the future. People who make enemies for no reason in business will never end well. Wissig finished his speech, and as soon as he stepped off the stage, Vardy walked towards him with a sullen expression. Vardy yelled in a low voice, "Wisk, why do you revise the speech?" "I didn't." Wister denied what he pulled Visk, and whispered, "I didn't make a joke with you. I mean, in the speech, you deleted all the content involving Mr. Zhu Ke Wald. What do you think?" Wister was dumb. "Which, you first proposed to welcome Mr. Wald to return to ICQ to save ICQ's current decline. But now, you can't hold back your face. What do you want us to do?" Vardy gritted his teeth. Visker's heart was so angry, he really couldn't help his face. "Also, Visk, it's been a long time." At this moment, a middle-aged lady came www.wooksyaspit.com. Her arrival interrupted the argument between Wissig and Vardy suddenly. Visker ignored Vardy. "Idiot." Vardy looked at Wisk's back and cursed in a low voice, "Is your face worth the money? If you don't go to Mr. Wald, then I will go. I will never let ICQ go into destruction." Did he change his mind halfway, having hindered this time? Goldfinger, one of the founders of ICQ, walked to Vardy's side. "He is such an indecisive master. We should not trust him at the beginning." Yes, if Mr. Wald had served as the chairman of ICQ, we would not have come to this point. Vardy sighed. The second update is sent in order to facilitate the next reading. You can click on the favorites below to record this time. Chapter 272 is a big step, and it's a mess. Read the record, and you can see it next time you open the bookshelf. If you like Hollywood Begins with Animation, please recommend this book to your friends. QQ, blog, Wetchet, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 268, You Are the One Scolding. Zhu Ke has traveled over the past 4 years, and has fully adapted to the life after the journey. He acted and talked about business as if it had become something carved in his bones. It was easy to come by when he met people and talked about ghosts, but for some people, Zhu Ke doesn't even have any interest in acting every time. For example, ICQ President Vardy, Zhu Ke really didn't want to see him. Mr. Wald, it's nice to see you again. Vardy was very excited. Mr. Wald. Goldfinger, the chief technology officer of ICQ, became a little embarrassed in the face of Zhu Ke, and he was very shy. "Be confident, Goldfinger." Zucker asked Goldfinger to sit down and took 2 glasses of champagne from the waiters around him, one for himself and the other for him. As for Vardy, he, not the same person, just ignored. Goldfinger opened his mouth and said, "Mr. Wald, I have failed your expectations. I think you also know that the update speed of ICQ is slow." Zhu Ke nodded and said, "I know. And I know that this is not your problem. It should be that some people are very dismissive of the update event." "What do you mean, Vardy?" Goldfinger was immediately dumb. As for Vardy, his complexion was flushed, and he stopped talking. In fact, Zhu Ke guessed it right. As the chief technology officer of ICQ, Goldfinger is very obsessed with technological updates and pursues higher quality technological changes. Even after Zhu Ke left ICQ, he always remembered Zhu Ke's words in the past. However, his pursuit was met with the opposition of Sage and Vardy. Technology is very important, but the top priority is to rapidly expand a market and increase the number of users around the world. As long as we have enough users and defeat our competitors, then the market is ours. This is the words that ICQ chairman Wej often talks about. Vardy also often said, "How to make the board trust our management team more? How to make the market believe in the potential of our ICQ. The key to everything is profitability data. The purpose of our acquisition of dozens of subsidiaries is to let with billions of users, it can be realized quickly and achieve huge profits. With huge profits, we can realize the healthy development of ICQ, better technology, higher user experience." Haha. For these, Waddy and Wesk are somewhat disdainful. Of course, their disdain is not that they do not pay attention to technological changes, but that the current technical means in the field of instant messaging in countries around the world cannot match ICQ and Vardy's words, which one of the instant messaging on the market does not follow us or copy us. However, the proud Vardy and Westger obviously didn't expect that the copycats can also be genuine. With the launch of Microsoft's MSN instant messaging software, localized chat software in various countries and regions emerges in an endless stream, all rapidly occupying the instant messaging market, launching rounds of challenges to the dominance of ICQ user experience decline. The number of daily active users has dropped sharply. All of this shows that ICQ software is constantly losing ground. Mr. Wald, since you know the current dilemma of ICQ, and you are one of the founders of ICQ, now only you can save ICQ, please. Vardy bowed deeply at Zhu. Haha. Zhu looked at Vardy with a sincere expression and immediately let out a sneer. Vardy, do you know how I evaluate you? Zhu joked evaluation of Vardy. Goldfinger listened. But Vardy was taken aback. Zhu Ke sneered. Vardy, you are a very selfish, jealous, and especially hypocritical guy. I despise people like you, Vardy. Goldfinger was also very puzzled. Mr. Wald, are you wrong? Zhu glanced at Goldfinger, then looked at Vardy, and continued, Vardy, if I remember correctly, in the ICQ Angel Round investment, you are the most active? Follow-up will introduce News Corporation and Red. Many shareholders of Shan Capital and Goldman Sachs Investment Bank have connected them to isolate me by various means and continuously dilute the shares in my hands. That person should be you too. Don't rush to refute. Let me guess again. It's not surprising that it's yours to ask the company's board of directors to remove my position as chief creative officer of ICQ? Before the speech was over, Goldfinger interrupted him. Mr. Wald, remove your position of chief creative officer. Isn't it the chairman of Westger? Goldfinger asked in confusion. Zhu suddenly shook his head and said, so Goldfinger can only do skills. You don't know which day it was sold by someone else? If you don't have Vardy behind, you think that a proud guy like Westger will do it? Are these? How did you think Vardy became the president of ICQ? Vardy, just a villain. How complicated is it? Goldfinger suddenly felt that the world was full of malice. Hearing this, Vardy's face remained unchanged. Yes, I did it. Vardy sighed. Mr. Wald, your shareholding ratio in ICQ is too high. It has affected the normal operation of the company's board of directors and decision makers. Let me ask, I want to prevent the company from infighting, develop better, and eliminate your influence and shares wrong? I have a clear conscience. Saying you're hypocritical, you really make me feel sick. Zhu disdainfully said, if this is the case, then even if I feel upset, I won't be disgusted with you. But you fight for infighting, in order to weaken my influence, picking up Visger again and again, reject my many proposals. Do you dare to pat your chest and say, didn't you refute it for the sake of refuting? Vardy's face became solemn. Zhu continued, so, I despise people like you. Goldfinger is a simple fellow, so I don't need to say more. Westger will only abide by pride and act honestly, but you Vardy, you will always hiding in a dark corner, let others charge forward, but you behave as pure as a white lotus. Are you disgusting? Are you disgusting? You are disgusting? These words made the technical man Goldfinger suddenly dumbfounded and stunned. Vardy's face was extremely embarrassed. He has always claimed to be a wise man, but right now these disguises have been ripped apart by Zhu Ke's words. Like a knife the world is confused, but I am alone. All this was torn apart by Zhu. Zhu got up, looked at Vardy condescendingly, and said, I know you are planning to invite me to return to ICQ, but what you want is not my ability and sunshine, but the influence I currently have. And, if there is no error in the estimation, after I return to ICQ, your next plan is to dismount Visger www.wuxiaspit.com as CEO yourself. Boom. Goldfinger was stunned. Vardy held back his anger, clenched his fists fiercely, and said nothing. Haha. Zhu Ke couldn't help but sneered. Look, in order to achieve your goal, you don't even have the courage to refute me face to face. What are you? So, I despise people like you. I originally planned to have a good chat with Wissig. But now it seems that I can only talk again next time. After speaking, Zhu ignored Goldfinger's retention and left the reception with a smile. The first update is sent in order to facilitate the next reading. You can click on the favorites below to record the reading record of this time. Chapter 273 is you, and you can see it next time you open the bookshelf. If you like Hollywood Begins with animation, please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, Watch It, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 269, Amy Adams. May 17, Golden Shugwang Entertainment Group. Zhu Ke handled the work at hand as always. As for the dilemma of ICQ, Zhu Ke did not have the slightest impact. The past is the past. What's more, Zhu Ke's feelings for ICQ are not as deep as outsiders think. Investing in ICQ is just a business. After withdrawing from stocks, I can also engage in other businesses. If the internet bubble bursts, a large number of companies go bankrupt and a large number of internet talents are unemployed. By then, I can completely recreate an internet social type company. You can be born early, that's right. Zhu Ke has already followed Zhu's Facebook, of course. This time Zhu Ke no longer tends to simply invest in shares, but intends to create Facebook's Zhu. As for whether Facebook can succeed, whether it can have a market value of hundreds of billions of dollars like the original space-time development, Zhu Ke has no idea. Lao Tzu is a self-aware person. A large media group is already exhausting, as well as LinkedIn. I also have to pay attention to it frequently, plus a series of stocks such as Yahoo, Google, Apple, Amazon, etc., which is not enough energy. Zhu Ke is a man, not a god. Before the journey, Zhu Ke was just a middle-level manager of a small entertainment company, with certain management experience and the assistance of future information. However, Zhu Ke was struggling to control a company with a market value of hundreds of billions of dollars. Even in recent years, Zhu Ke has been studying, complementing the knowledge of management and finance. However, some things can't be made up by learning. Therefore, Zhu Ke has no idea whether he can succeed in creating Facebook. Boom boom boom. At this moment, the office door was knocked. The visitor is impressively Group CEO Victor Jones. Victor, how did you come? Come on, sit down. Zhu greeted Victor and sat down on the sofa. While pouring a cup of coffee for Victor himself, Zhu Ke greeted him. Try it. This coffee is a good thing. It's the last time I was a guest at Bei Guangtao's house and snatched it from him. The coffee beans worth tens of dollars and 1 gram are very expensive. I usually hate to drink it. You are blessed, is it? Victor took a sip, and his eyes suddenly brightened. It is indeed a good thing. How much do you have here, boss? Give it to me evenly later. Zhu Ke rolled his eyes immediately. Don't even think about it. I just have a little stock, but if you like to drink, you can come to me a few times. After a pause, Zhu Ke said again, do you have anything to do with me? It's something. At the moment, Victor murmured, there are 3 main things. 1. Because of the outstanding box office performance of the 2 films, My Grand Greek Wedding and Spartan 300 Warriors, Wald Pictures has already planned a celebration banquet, which will be held tomorrow. Victor came to Zhu Ke to report the final arrangement. 2. Report to Zhu Ke the establishment of the group's overseas distribution channels. 3. It is now mid-May. Victor is planning to prepare for the mid-year meeting of the group 1 month in advance. This involves the specific operating strategies of the group's head office and multiple subsidiaries in the second half of the year. You are the CEO of the group, so I leave it to you, Zhu Ke solemnly said. Also, for the problem of overseas channel construction, the head office must provide more support to Wald Pictures. Victor nodded and said, I understand. And I also suggest that the total profit of the 2 films, My Grand Greek Wedding and 300 Spartans, should be used for 30% minus 45% of the total profit. Consolidate the construction and development of overseas distribution channels. Of course, Zhu Ke agrees. In this year, or even in the next few years, the subsidiary Wald Pictures will not be able to replenish the blood of the parent company, and even rely on the parent company's subsidies, because the establishment of overseas film distribution channels requires huge amounts of funds. In the original time and space, Lionsgate Pictures established a global distribution channel, and the funds spent no less than $1 billion. Now Zhu Ke's distribution channel construction, its required funds will not be less than $1 billion. The specific plan, you bother. I hope to see the complete plan as soon as possible, Zhu Ke said. No problem. When Victor answered the question, he appeared very confident. How can a media group without self-confident people manage a multi-billion-dollar media group? The next day the celebration banquet for the 2 films, My Great Greek Wedding and 300 Warriors of Sparta, was held as scheduled in a private estate outside Burbank. Those who were invited to the celebration banquet were not only the directors and main actors of the 2 film crews, but also the bosses and executives of major Hollywood film companies. Zhu Ke also sent out many invitations. At the same time, the American theaters, Hollywood famous actors, directors and some friends of Zhu Ke will also be invited to come. Alexander, Are the celebration banquets set up? Zhu Ke came here early, don't worry, it's basically okay. Oh, by the way, boss, I'll introduce to you Mr. Tverosindrich Philippe Paparyovsky, the owner of this private estate. Alexander pointed to a tall middle-aged man beside him. Nice to meet you, Mr. Sindrich. When I see Mr. Wald, my heart is also surging. The two shook hands. The owner of the manor, Sindrich, knew that he was a Russian-American when he heard his long list of names. However, through the ensuing chat, Zhu knew that he had guessed wrong and that Sindrich was a Polish-American. Now he runs the family manor, specializing in leasing services, and providing large-scale banquet venues for the wealthy in the Los Angeles area. Of course, Sindrich also runs several Western restaurants in downtown Los Angeles. His personal wealth is not cheap, and the manor that covers dozens of acres is worth more than $40 million. Hi, Amy Adams, your dinner plate is wrong. At this moment, there was a sound in Zhu's ear. Zhu Ke followed his reputation, but it was a middle-aged woman in her 40s who reminded a beautiful blonde waitress. Sorry, I will pay attention. The attitude is very good. Our manor has decades of tradition. It is dedicated to serving the local rich in Los Angeles, especially the big figures in Hollywood. They often rent here. Didn't you say that you want to be an actor? Then you can take it well, the middle-aged woman foreman reminded. Thank you. The waitress named Amy Adams sincerely thanks. This attracted Zhu Ke's attention. So it's her. Yes, Zhu recognized who the waitress in front of him was. Amy Adams is now a fledgling newcomer www.wooksyaspit.com. In the future, she will also be a famous female star in Hollywood. Before 2020, she has won 4 Oscar nominations for Best Supporting Actress and 1 Oscar for Best Supporting Actress. Actress nominated. The magic fantasy film starring in him has made countless people around the world sigh. The beauty of Amy Adams. Well, at 25 years old, she is really beautiful. Moreover, she is also one of the typical Hollywood actresses who are late bloomers and become famous very late. I have to say that Zhu is interested. The second update of was sent. The minister seemed to owe a chapter before and hadn't made it up. Well, it will be made up tomorrow. Thank you, Nikiho and Jinxiahuanian, for your rewards. In order to facilitate the next reading, you can click on the collection below to record this. Chapter 274 Movie Celebration Amy Adams, Reading Record, and you will see it next time you open the bookshelf. If you like Hollywood Begins with Animation, please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, Widget, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 270, guests will be on stage one after another. 7 o'clock in the evening. When summer is coming, even at 7 o'clock in the evening, the afterglow of the setting sun still covers the earth, and the beauty of the setting sun shines all over the world. Although Wald Pictures has been established for a short time, it relies on the Golden Dawn Entertainment Group and is backed by a media group. It is naturally one of the leading Hollywood film companies. Even if it is not comparable to the 6 major companies, it is also well known. The recent hot sales of My Great Greek Wedding and 300 Spartan Warriors have pushed Wald Pictures to new heights in one fell swoop. Just like last year's New Line films, with Rush Hour and Blade Warrior are famous in Hollywood, almost exactly the same nowadays. The celebration banquet is hosted and people from all walks of life are invited to participate, which naturally attracts a lot of media attention. Good guy. The number of media reporters here today is no less than 100, a middle-aged reporter sighed while holding a camera. Immediately, a reporter echoed, don't look at which movie company held the celebration banquet, man. It's Wald Pictures. Many media reporters around him joined in. Until now, the movie My Grand Greek Wedding has a North American box office of $251 million, an overseas box office of $128 million, and a global gross of $379 million with a production cost of $5 million. Achieving such a high box office result is not unstoppable. The movie Spartan 300 Warriors has been screened for more than 40 days, and has won a North American box office of $180 million. The overseas box office is even more expensive. It has been released for more than 20 days and has already earned $160 million in box office. Cumulative box office results, $340 million at present. The popularity of Spartan 300 Warriors is still not low. Relying on the long-term screening of the theater, it is expected to be released for 3 months, and the final global box office will definitely not be less than $400 million in the first half of 1999. Relying on these 2 films alone, Wald Pictures' earnings today must be among the best in Hollywood. Wald Pictures is so awesome this year. Who said no? Think about the year before. They made a sensation in the United States with A Sixth Sense of Supernatural. Last year they were extremely low-key, only producing a few movies, and immediately made New Line Pictures famous for a while. Before it has passed, Wald Pictures will return strongly, not much else. The profitability of these two films alone is enough to make many film companies jealous. Don't talk about the big guys, even I am jealous. Before the celebration banquet officially started, many media reporters talked about it with great interest. Among the crowd of media reporters, there was no idea who shouted loudly suddenly attracted the attention of everyone present. It's King Leonida. That's right. The first invited guest to come is surprisingly Viggo Mortensen, the actor of King Leonida in Sparta. No, I am wearing a black suit today. I am not wearing red pants or holding a knife or gun. Therefore, today I am not the king of Sparta, Leonidas, but the actor Viggo Mortensen. Don't forget. Otherwise, I don't mind giving you some red pants of the same Spartan style. In a good mood, Viggo, facing the camera of a group of media reporters, couldn't help but start a little joke. Red pants. Many people present were very happy because in the near future, thanks to the popularity of Sparta, Viggo has been favored by the international luxury clothing giant Versace, designating him as the spokesperson of the new men's underwear, with a total contract price of $9 million. Viggo, according to people familiar with the matter, the upcoming Lord of the Rings trilogy, intends to invite you to play the role of Aragorn II. A reporter suddenly asked. Obviously many reporters don't know about this, but this does not prevent them from being interested in it. Man, that's Lord of the Rings, one of the world's most well-known magic novels. Tolkien's Middle-earth is the existence that countless fans talk about. It's true, Viggo said. Zhe, the chairman of New Line Films, and Peter Jackson, the director, have already sent me an invitation a few days ago. I also gladly accepted the Aragorn corner. The contract will be signed soon. One stone stirs up 1,000 waves. Suddenly, all the media reporters present expressed their congratulations. King Leonidas and Aragorn II are kings. Courage, fearlessness, and sacrifice are their common ground, but they are also different. Aragorn II in Lord of the Rings has experienced a long period of confusion in his life. In the end, in order to protect the country and the Middle-earth century, he brazenly fought the demons to the death, and the format of the film is even more ambitious. When Viggo Mortensen entered the manor, he saw Zhu Ke Wald. Good evening, Viggo, you're welcome. I hope you will have a good time tonight. It will, I firmly believe. After the two chatted for a while, Zhu Ke let go. After all, there are still many people to greet today. As the official start time of the celebration banquet approached, invited guests from various Hollywood parties appeared one after another and accepted interviews with media reporters. Charlize Theron is here too. Her current popular actress in Hollywood, with her outstanding appearance, naturally attracts the attention of many people. In particular, she played the role of the Queen of Sparta in the movie Spartan 300 Warriors, which successfully added a glorious touch to her resume. With the success of Sparta, her personal salary has also risen. Now you don't want to ask her to participate in the film if you don't ask for a price of more than $12 million. Well, even if Zhu invites her to play the heroine again, she must be worthy of her. This is Hollywood, a Vanity Fair that will always chase winners. Oh? You asked me my impression of Mr. Zhu Ke Wald. Of course he and I are very good friends. After all, you all know www.wooksyaspit.com. I was the first group of employees who founded the chain store around SpongeBob SquarePants' house. I don't deny that he invited me to play the role of Queen Spartan. It's out of favor, but he and I are good friends. Good friends invited me to star in a movie. Is there a problem? In the future, I will continue to cooperate with Zhu Ke Wald Films. Charlize Theron has been in Hollywood for a few years now. She is no longer the stunned person who could be fooled by Zhu Ke. Now she can talk freely whether she is facing media reporters or banquets in public, without losing elegance. Famous Hollywood directors such as Spielberg, Zack Snyder, and Lucas also appeared one after another. However, the arrival of ICQ's chairman and CEO Weist left a lot of media reporters at a loss. The first update is sent in order to facilitate the next reading. You can click on the favorites below to record the reading record of this time. The guests of chapter 275 will appear one after another, and you can see it next time you open the bookshelf. If you like Hollywood Begins with Animation, please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, Widget, etc. Thank you for your support. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. we cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 271, Dialogue with the Chairman of ICQ. Wester was invited to attend the celebration banquet hosted by Wald Pictures, but he came alone without bringing Vardy, Goldfinger and others. The purpose of his trip is to have a frank and open chat with Zhu Ke. After all, ICQ's market is being encroached on by other similar chat software every day. The form of ICQ is not optimistic. Hi, Zhu Ke. When Wester greeted Zhu Ke, Zhu Ke was drinking and chatting with Katzenberg, the director of DreamWorks Animation. It's Visk. Let me introduce you. This is Mr. Jeffrey Katzenberg from DreamWorks Animation, a respected senior in our Hollywood industry. Zhu Ke introduced immediately. Katzenberg and West shook hands with each other. Everyone is a billionaire, and they are all leading figures in their own fields. Naturally, they are good at making false feelings and acting on the spot. Zhu Ke, I want to talk to you. Do you have time? Wester said. Of course. Zhu Ke nodded, then looked at Katzenberg, and apologized. Jeffrey, I'll go there first, and we'll have a good chat later. Okay, go ahead, I don't need you to greet you. Katzenberg didn't mind either. Of course, he didn't mind that it was his business. Zhu Ke called the old Bill, the president of his own Wald Pictures, and asked him to entertain Katzenberg. This is definitely not rude. They are all people who have a face in Hollywood, and all they want is a face. Waitress, here, under a big banyan tree somewhere in the manor. The two of them sat down, and Zhu Ke called the waiter, and suddenly discovered that it was the famous Hollywood actress Amy Adams in the future. Mr. Wald, what do you need? Amy whispered. 2 glasses of water and wine, thank you. Okay, just a second. After Amy left, Zhu Ke turned his attention to Visk, which, I actually wanted to have a good chat with you. You know, since I withdrew from ICQ in July last year, we should have only met once in New York. At that time, it was a Super Bowl ad solicitation. We two. Not only was the meeting unpleasant, but there were also a lot of quarrels. Well, at the ICQ 3rd anniversary reception a few days ago, we didn't say a word to each other. I should be right. Zhu Ke knocked on the table and said, yes, Wester said frankly, you are right. You know what, I'm a little jealous of you. Jealous? What are you jealous of me? Are you jealous of how handsome I am? Zhu Ke smiled. That's not it. West smiled and said, I am jealous of your vision. In 1996, Silicon Valley hosted the second Internet Summit. During the 3-day exchange summit, we did not know each other. However, after the summit, we met strangely. What do you want to say? Is it a coincidence? Zhu Ke quipped. West shook his head and said, at the beginning, when I participated in the exchange summit, I was so energetic that I was convinced that ICQ would work hard and achieve good development under the big wave of the internet. However, I lacked the startup capital. But, you show up. I will always remember that dusk, that cafe. I think that is God's guidance. It is God who made us meet. God, it's yours. If you are not the founder of ICQ, how can I pay attention to you? Zhu Ke rolled his eyes. Ill-tempered. West continued, since then, we have applied for ICQ's global patents and founded ICQ. We have also placed advertisements in your company's movie Junia, which made ICQ become popular as soon as it went public. Remember? That day, we were all drunk. Do you know, on that day, I believe that you will be the nobleman in my life and an important contributor to our ICQ's continued development. It turns out that I guessed right. In the follow-up multilingual version of ICQ, the emoji package, membership function, all show that your vision is unique. Your vision is ahead of the world. This compliment really made Zhu Ke very comfortable. Who doesn't love flattering? Won't you then join forces with Vardy to target me? There was a stance that I was completely driven out of the board of directors. In the end, you succeeded. My chief creative officer and executive director of the company were successively revoked by you. I finally it is even more desperate to withdraw shares. Zhu Ke sneered. Isn't all this exactly what you hoped for? At this moment, Wester was extremely embarrassed. Don't watch what you say, watch what you do. Facts have proved that Zhu Ke has no place to apologize to ICQ, and there is no place to apologize to Wester. On the contrary, it is Wester and his management who constantly targets Zhu Ke. May I ask, can Zhu Ke have no anger? Besides, Zhu Ke himself is not a good-tempered person. Now it's just a few sarcasm, not pointing to the nose to scold you. It's already, thank goodness. Mr. Wald, Mr. Wester, this is your red wine. As the awkward atmosphere spread, Amy Adams, who was still a waiter at the moment, dragged a tray with 2 glasses of red wine and walked over. "Thank you, charming lady." Zhu Ke smiled after receiving the red wine. "Thank you, Mr. Wald, for your compliment." Being able to get praise from Hollywood tycoon Zhu Ke, this is naturally an exciting thing for Amy Adams, who wants to enter Hollywood. "What's your name?" Zhu asked. "Amy Adams." Amy solemnly responded. Zhu nodded and said, "I remember you. If you are interested in becoming an actor, you can leave your phone number to my assistant Alexander. Maybe I will give you a chance." Leave the phone. Be an actor. A chance. Boom. At this moment, Amy Adams's mind seemed to have been blown by a Category 12 hurricane. His heart was surging, and he couldn't calm down for a long time. Who in Hollywood doesn't know Wald Pictures? Who is best at discovering new actors? Jackie, Theron, Scarlett. Which one is not on the list of Wald Pictures, making it popular in the United States? She is Amy Adams, a waitress and a Hollywood actor. Now that she can get such an opportunity, would she not be excited? Thank you, Mr. Wald." Amy thanked Zhu Ke again and again excitedly. Unspoken rules. Haha. Zhu really didn't have so many thoughts at this moment. Isn't it also a matter of great pride to promote a future well-known Hollywood actress and make her famous in Wald Pictures? Amy Adams left, but her appearance also relieved the embarrassing atmosphere of Zucker and Wiester. "Zook, are you really not going to return to ICQ?" West said in a deep voice. "If you are willing to return to ICQ, I can strongly recommend you to become the CEO, and I can sell a part of the shares to you at a low price." Zhu could feel this girl's determination, but still shook his head and said, "I will not go back, but if you really want to save the ICQ crisis, I can give you a suggestion." "You said?" Wester looked forward to it. The strong man broke his wrist, gave up most of the overseas market in some affiliated industries, made every effort to stabilize the North American market, and concentrated all efforts to win the battle with Microsoft MSN. Zhu Ke suggested give up most of the overseas market, give up some subsidiary industries. Wester was shocked and said, "Isn't the ICQ stock price over?" Zhu nodded. "Yes, www.wuxiaspit.com. Maybe it will be delisted, but only in this way. ICQ will have a ray of life, otherwise it will undoubtedly wait for death slowly, competing with a behemoth like Microsoft in the instant messaging market, without shrinking all of its strength, and spreading out so much. How can you win? How can we win the future if we are willing to give up and don't give up some in this regard?" Amazon's Bezos has done a great job. He did his best to expand overseas markets after defeating the vast majority of online shopping malls in the United States. Visk left unconsciously looking at Weister's back. Zhu also exclaimed, "Who would have thought that in just a few years, the instant messaging overlord ICQ would be worth less than $30 million US?" The second update was sent, and the minister continued to open the third update in order to facilitate the next reading. You can click on the favorites below to record the reading record of this time. Chapter 276 Dialogue with the Chairman of ICQ, and you can see it next time you open the bookshelf. If you like Hollywood Begins with Animation, please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 272 The Plastic Friendship of Hollywood Stars. The celebration banquet scene is naturally very lively. A group of Hollywood stars and actors held up their wine glasses and talked to each other. The directors and producers were not idle, gathered in groups by the swimming pool, and they talked about each other again and again. The cocktail party is undoubtedly a good place for them to expand their contacts, and they will naturally not give up because they are extremely shrewd. Even if there is no gain, you can't offend people. The directors who were invited are naturally the two of Spielberg and Lucas, who are the most famous. Among the actors, Tom Cruise and Leonardo are the most famous. There are also a lot of big names in the producer group. Shay, the boss of New Line Pictures, and Shirley Lansing, the president of Paramount Pictures. Of course, the biggest people tonight are Murdoch of News Corporation and Redstone of Viacom Group. Countless people gathered around the two big brothers. "Rupert, I heard that X-Men has already started filming. Would you like to consider letting me participate in Paramount?" Leigh Shidden smiled. Murdoch immediately refused. "Forget it, buddy. X-Men is not Titanic. Fox Pictures can afford its production cost, so I won't bother you." "The guy who crossed the river and demolished the bridge." Leigh Shidden curled his lips. Murdoch pushed his glasses and said, "Don't forget, you made a lot of money by investing in Titanic. I am not an ungrateful person who crosses the river and tears down the bridge." The confrontation between the two Hollywood tycoons really made everyone around them afraid to talk. Murdoch represents Fox Pictures, Redstone represents Paramount Pictures. The two sit in one of the 6 major Hollywood players, and they are both big-time figures of media giants. Their words and deeds have affected the changes in the Hollywood landscape. When they confront each other, who dares to speak? Compared with them, the chants of Hollywood actors and actresses have a much more harmonious atmosphere. Well, at least it shows that this is the case. The major film companies have so many resources each year, and the competition between actors and actresses will not be less, which has led to the friendship of many people, which is a proper plastic friendship. Jaqueen, you are very hot recently. I want to congratulate you, James McAvoy said. James McAvoy, male, his representative works are The Young and Haired Professor X in the X-Men series, and the Goat Monster in the Chronicles of Narnia, in 1996. He collaborated with Wald Pictures in Lola Run and played the leading role. I watched the movie My Grand Greek Wedding in the theater. Jacques played the image of a middle-aged man very well. Tomorrow's Oscar nomination for Best Actor will definitely not run away, Mark Ruffalo said. Mark Ruffalo, male, his masterpiece is The Hulk in the Avengers series, in 1996, cooperated with Wald Pictures to film Fruit Hard Candies. I envy you, Jacques. Since my debut, apart from participating in the Tuner short film directed by Mr. Wald himself, there are no other movies that can be produced, Paul Walker said. Paul Walker, male, whose masterpiece is Brian O'Connor, the hero of Fast and Furious. However, as soon as Paul Walker said this, he was immediately criticized by everyone. Jackie Phoenix, you participated in a movie directed by Mr. Wald himself. Why are you not satisfied? Mark Ruffalo, that's right. Since Mr. Wald debuted, he has directed Tuner in addition to Lola Run at the beginning. This opportunity is a dream of many people. It's a month. James McAvoy, Paul, you are not right. Except for the Tuner movie, the School Blues movie you starred in was released in the United States at the end of January this year. The cumulative North American box office exceeded $50 million. Do you dare to say no, I'm wrong? Facing everyone's verbal criticism, Paul Walker was naturally very decisive. The 4 Hollywood actors chatted with each other, and the atmosphere was good for a while, as if they were good brothers, with endless words, but in fact, they were testing each other. The butterfly effect, that's right. Wald Pictures announced recently that it will start the selection of actors for the movie Butterfly Effect. Butterfly Effect is a soft science fiction movie of the time and space shuttle type. The production cost is about tens of millions of dollars. It is reasonable to say that it is a medium-cost type of film and cannot attract well-known Hollywood actors to join. But who made the screenwriter of the movies? Zuke. For today's Hollywood, Zucker is a golden sign. The movies and TV series written by Zuke himself, with the exception of a few, are all big hits and are a guarantee of high box office. Lola Run, Fatal Turn, Human Removal Project, Sixth Sense of Supernatural, Junia, which one is not famous, even My Great Greek Wedding and the 300 Warriors of Sparta, 2 movies that Zuke did not personally participate in the script writing, are also very explosive. You said, those actors in Hollywood. Can they not flock to it? Butterfly Effect is full of appeal to Paul Walker and others. At the same time, another crowd-gathering place in the manor was a group of Hollywood female stars chatting. The topic of discussion is also the upcoming movie Butterfly Effect. You are not suitable, Miss Scarlett Johansson. Charlize Theron looked at Scarlett, who was short in front of him, and joked, you are only 15 years old this year, and you are still a girl. You can't play the heroine of Butterfly Effect. Hearing that, Scarlett Johansson chick, how can you bear it? I can't act because of my young age. But what about you, big sister? Your current single film salary should be 10 to 12 million US dollars, and I heard that the production cost of the entire drama Butterfly Effect is only $10 million. Big sister, are you right? Scarlett sneered. You? Theron's eyebrows glared. Tisk tusk tusk, does the truth hurt? Then I'm sorry. Scarlett pretended to be sincere. Jessica Chastain, Angelina Jolie, the actress's palace fighting www.wooksyaspit.com is much more exciting than the male actor's. Film and television resources are limited, especially those of the first-line commercial productions of the A category. If you don't take the initiative to fight for it, is it possible to expect a pie in the sky? I want to be blind. The next day Zuke got up early and left for the Waterworld animation studio. Finding Nemo, which lasted for more than 2 years, has been successfully completed and will be released worldwide. As the first animated theater movie of Golden Dawn Entertainment, its significance is naturally extraordinary. The third update is sent, Please support. In order to facilitate the next reading, you can click on the favorites below to record this. Chapter 277 Plastic Friendship of Hollywood Stars, Reading Record. And you can see it next time you open the bookshelf. If you like Hollywood Begins with animation, please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, Watchit, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 273, Finding Nemo. Waterworld animation, yes, quite perfect. The ocean scenery, the landforms of the seabed, the colorful coral reefs, the lush and swaying water plants, and the groups of lovely marine creatures, really make people linger. The last time I watched it, there was no dubbing and the soundtrack seemed a little scarce. This time the film was completed in its entirety, and it didn't disappoint me. Stephen, David, your work has been outstanding. The success of Finding Nemo, you are the best. Stephen, tell all the employees in Group 3 that their bonus this month will increase by 50%. After the movie is released, I will send them a big red envelope. After Zhu Ke watched Finding Nemo, he was in a good mood immediately. It was promised bonuses in red envelopes, and the rumors of Zhu the Stingy disappeared. It is true that Zhu Ke is too aware of the future potential of the film. Steven Solenberg and David Messer are also very happy. Boss praise means that their efforts have been seen. At the same time, striving for more benefits for subordinate employees is also one of the management's tasks. Of course, after the movie is released, it has achieved high box office results and sold peripheral products. Only then can their value be more reflected. After 1 hour, Steven Solenberg convened the senior managers of Waterworld Animation for a concentrated meeting. Zhu Ke also attended. Boss, according to our plan, in late May, in 9 major American cities including Los Angeles, San Francisco, Chicago, New York, Miami, etc., a preview of Finding Nemo will be held, and some Hollywood figures and movie audiences will be invited to watch in advance. Shadow, at the beginning of June, contact North American mainstream theaters such as Emperor Entertainment, Zimank, AMC Entertainment to participate in the screening, and finalize the release matters and the screening contract. In mid-June, the retail and game development copyrights of Finding Nemo will be authorized for sale. The movie is expected to be released in the U.S. at the end of July and early August. Steven Solenberg, president of Waterworld Animation, said slowly. Zhu Ke and everyone present also nodded frequently. Okay, it's scheduled to be released at the end of July and early August. Time is a bit tight, so everyone has to work harder, Zhu Ke said solemnly. Yes, boss, everyone responded. In fact, Zhu Ke's original plan was to arrange for the Finding Nemo movie to be released on the Thanksgiving holiday schedule in November. However, the plan cannot keep up with the changes. Pixar Animation has announced a few days ago, Toy Story 2 is scheduled to be released on Thanksgiving this year. Man, that's Toy Story 2. The first part of the Toy Story series is the world's first fully computer-produced animated feature film. It was released on Thanksgiving Day in 1995. Once it was launched, it shocked the whole world and earned $192 million in the North American box office. The global box office is as high as $360 million. And he was the champion of the North American box office rankings in 1995. It is no exaggeration to say that the Toy Story series of animations have a huge number of fan audiences around the world. The second film, Toy Story, which took 4 years, can be said to have greatly carried the expectations of movie fans eagerly. Just ask, how does Finding Nemo compete with Toy Story 2, even if Finding Nemo is excellent? Zhu does not want them to be released on the same schedule. No matter what the result is, it will greatly hurt the film's box office. The movie is released in the summer, and I will explain to Victor, Zhu Ke said. Stephen and David, you are the project leaders. How to communicate with Wald Pictures, Golden Dawn Television Group, Publishing Group, and Music Company to better distribute Finding Nemo. See the plan in a short time. Stephen nodded. No problem, David, wrap it on me. Time is tight, and the task is heavy. If it weren't for Pixar's Toy Story 2, then everyone would not be nervous and busy. At the end of the Waterworld animation trip, Zhu Ke went to the LinkedIn company located in the same building. Jeff Weiner, I plan to relocate LinkedIn from Silicon Valley to Seattle. What do you think? The first words Zhu said surprised Jeff Weiner. The president of LinkedIn, Jeff Weiner, frowned and said, Boss, is it because the Seattle local government has given multiple support policies? In the past few days, the Seattle local government announced support policies for the internet industry and the tertiary industry. Bank interest rate cuts, government support, lower state taxes, corporate subsidies, and other policies have absolutely nothing to do with the internet industry. Great attraction, yes, I decided to relocate the LinkedIn company because of lower state taxes and more support, Zhu Ke admitted. Jeff thought 10 seconds later. Jeff said, the key is how long this favorable policy of the Seattle local government can be implemented. The policies of various parts of the United States, like those of the federal government, are criticized for changing orders at night. God knows that after the relocation of LinkedIn, the government policy changed. I think this policy will last, and it will save us a lot of corporate taxes. Zhu Ke laughed. Seattle, Boeing Company, the world's largest aerospace manufacturing and R&D company, Amazon, the world-famous online shopping mall, Microsoft, the world's #1 computer system software provider, Starbucks, the world's largest coffee chain, their headquarters are all located in Seattle. The reason is no other reason, just because of the favorable policies of the Seattle local government until 2020. Amazon.com is still leading the federal government's grants for small and medium-sized enterprises, which are also related to Seattle's local policies. I am greedy. Zhu also wants to try this policy in the end. Under Zhu's persuasion, Jeff Weiner, the president of LinkedIn, agreed with the decision to move to Seattle. It's okay to move to Seattle. With a gradual expansion of LinkedIn, the walled building is obviously not enough, and it also needs to share a building with Water World Animation. It seems too crowded, Jeff Weiner said, the next day. You reading www.uucan'tchoo.com. Not long after Zhu Ke got up, he heard a call from his private lawyer Zhang Wei. Boss, I have done what you entrusted to me. Do you have time now? Zhang Wei's voice came over the phone. If you have time, come to my house now, Zhu Ke said after the phone was hung up. Zhu clenched his fists severely. Today I finally figured out how much my assets are. That's right. What Zhu Ke entrusted to Zhang Wei was to calculate and count Zhu Ke's existing assets. The first update is sent in order to facilitate the next reading. You can click favorites below to record the reading record of this time. Chapter 278, Finding Nemo, and you can see it next time you open the bookshelf. If you like Hollywood Begins with Animation, please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, widget, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 274, Zhu and number 039, Asset Inventory. Come, sit down, you're welcome. In the face of the coming private lawyer Zhang Wei and private financial advisor Anna Josephine, Zhu personally entertained them and poured a cup of coffee for each of them. Come and taste the coffee I made. After all, you have been quite tired recently. Zhu Ke smiled. Zhang Wei took a sip of coffee, took out his briefcase, and said, Boss, this is what we should do. It's not hard work or hard work, private financial advisor Anna Josephine echoed. In general, Mr. Wald, your financial situation is very good. That's all right. Zhu Ke poked his hands rather dickily. Zhang Wei took out a bundle of bound and sorted materials from the briefcase and handed them to Zhu Ke. Boss, the material in your hand is a summary of the asset status of the Golden Dawn Entertainment Group under your name, and your bank account and private diversified investment will be explained by your private financial advisor, Miss Anna Josephine. Zhang Wei said. Anna also nodded. Zhu Ke is separate from company property and private accounts. In addition, Zhu Ke gave the two parts of accounting and statistics to them separately. This was not because Zhu Ke did not trust Zhang Wei, who had known him for a long time, but out of routine considerations. People can't stand up to attempts. No one can guarantee that Zhang Wei will make a fortune. Boss, please read this information first, and I will explain it to you in due course, Zhang Wei said again. When Zhu Ke opened up the information, the first thing that caught his eye was the valuation and financial reports of Jinzhuguang Entertainment Group and its subsidiaries such as Wald Pictures, TV Group, and Water World Animation. Golden Dawn Entertainment Group, under the jurisdiction of Wald Pictures, Golden Dawn TV Group, Water World Animation Company, SpongeBob SquarePants surrounding chain stores, Golden Dawn Music, Golden Dawn Publishing, Manchester City Club, Under Armour Sporting Goods Company, a total of 8 subsidiaries. As of now, Wald Pictures has produced nearly 20 films in the 4 years since its establishment, including Junia, Human Removal Project, Deadly Bend, Spartan 300 Warriors and Spiritual The Sixth Sense, and many other well-known copyrights, as well as the copyrights of more than 2,300 movies acquired over the past 6 months, national distribution channels, peripheral authorized copyrights, film and television copyrights, Wald Films building and other fixed assets. Goldman Sachs Investment Bank valued them as high as $1.3 billion. Zhang Wei said. Hearing this, Zhu was also immediately surprised. Wald Pictures' valuation of $1.3 billion is really not low. Put aside the 6 major Hollywood film companies, they are called the DreamWorks, which ranks number 1 under the 6 major Hollywood film companies. They throw away music, games, books and other related industry chains, and the pure film and television, distribution and production companies, plus brand value. The total valuation is only $1.41 billion. Mr. Wald, congratulations. Anna congratulated. I want to congratulate you too, boss, Zhang Wei solemnly said. From now on, the value of Wald Pictures is second only to Hollywood's 6th, MGM and DreamWorks, and ranks 9th in the list of Hollywood film companies' strengths. The corners of Zhu's mouth could not help but rise. 4 years. In just 4 years, the strength of Wald Pictures has swelled to the point where 98% of Hollywood film companies need to look up even if there are the advantages of traverser plagiarism and system assistance. Zhu Ke is proud of it. Under the Golden Dawn Entertainment Group, what about other subsidiaries? Zhu Ke continued to ask. 1. Golden Shugwang Television Group, which has jurisdiction over UP Television Network and WB Television Network, with a total valuation of $1.03 billion. Among them, Go Talent Show and Millionaire are the 2 most valuable variety show copyrights. The brand value of Go Talent Show alone is enough to be as high as $1 billion, but the valuation is not so calculated. There is time, cost considerations. Similarly, the vast majority of annual profits go to Zhu's private account. 2. Golden Dawn Music Company owns popular singers or groups such as Eminem, Beyoncé, Destiny, Britney Spears, Linkin Park, etc., with a valuation of $210 million. 3. Jin Shugwang Publishing Group, under its jurisdiction White Castle Publishing House, Smile Publishing House, Brown Bear Duke Publishing House, and the publishing rights of thousands of books, valued at $190 million. 6. Manchester City Football Club, which ranked first in the League 2 this season, has been promoted to the League 1. Its market value has risen by tens of millions of dollars, and its current valuation is $63 million. 7. Under Armour Sporting Goods Company, the shareholding ratio increased from 45% to 62%, valued at $13 million. Golden Dawn Entertainment Group, the overall value is $3.26 billion. Among the major Hollywood studios, the overall strength ranks 8th, which surpasses MGM Films. In the field of major media companies in the United States, it ranks 17th. Zhang Wei continued. Of course, this is only a valuation. I think the valuation given by Goldman Sachs Investment Bank is far lower than the actual value. The value of Golden Dawn Entertainment Group is definitely not only $3.26 billion. Zhu was speechless, but at the same time, he also recognized Zhang Wei's words. The value of Golden Dawn Entertainment Group is definitely far more than $3.26 billion. Not much else, just waiting for the release of the 2 series of movies Harry Potter and Spider-Man. The overall market value of Golden Dawn Entertainment Group will soar a lot. In addition, Zhu Ke also owns a series of Marvel superhero copyrights, which are very valuable in the future. Similarly, my SpongeBob SquarePants house has just recently established a Baez doll production center, which involves a market of tens of billions of dollars. The animated film Finding Nemo has not yet been released. Once it is released, its market value will soar hundreds of millions of dollars. It is a very easy thing. At this moment, in Zhu Ke's mind, the value of Jin Shugwang Entertainment Group is by no means only $3.26 billion, but a group valued at more than tens of billions of dollars, or even tens of billions of dollars. Anna, the private financial advisor, said. Mr. Wald, now I will explain to you your personal investment and asset status. Zhu nodded. There is also a complete profile for private finance. There are more companies invested by Zhu Ke in his own name, much more than the subsidiaries of Golden Dawn Entertainment Group. The wholly owned companies include California Standard Bank and LinkedIn. Companies that have participated in more than 5% of the shares include McAfee Antivirus, Google, Amazon, Devon Capital Investment, etc. For companies with shares less than 5%, there are 2% Yahoo stocks, 3.72% Apple stocks, 0.02% AOL stocks, 0.01% Microsoft stocks, etc. At the same time, Zucker hoarded $780 million worth of gold in California's Standard Bank and Swiss Bank, villas, private jets, yachts, farms, Allens. In addition, your cash accounts and major banks also have $590 million in cash, Anna said. Zhu Ke immediately urged, just tell me directly, how much money does the industry under my name, except for the Golden Dawn Entertainment Group, have in total? $6.1 billion. Damn it, no wonder Zhu Ke couldn't help but explode. He couldn't help it, man, $6.1 billion. If you convert this money into 100 yuan in cash, then it is definitely a mountain of rhythm. I have so much money. Zhu Ke's eyes widened. www.wuxiaspit.com. With the addition of Jinshu Guang Entertainment's valuation of $3.26 billion, Zhuke's total net worth is almost close to tens of billions of US dollars. Who can do that? Keep calm. Whether God can remain calm, Zhuke doesn't know, but Zhuke himself is absolutely unable to calm down at this moment. Anna smiled and said, Mr. Wald, 2% of Yahoo's stock is worth $800 million. 3.72% of Apple's stock is worth $370 million. 8% of Amazon stock is worth $3 billion, plus Microsoft, Hewlett-Packard and other companies' stocks. These are worth $4.4 billion. Zhang Wei echoed, boss, the number of internet futures is currently soaring, and the Nasdaq Internet stock market is very good. Your investment in these stocks is estimated to increase by several $100 million in half a year. The second update is sent in order to facilitate the next reading. You can click on the favorites below to record the reading record of this time. Chapter 279, Zhuke's Asset Inventory, and you can see it next time you open the bookshelf. If you like Hollywood Begins with Animation, please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, Wetchet, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 275, Billion Net Worth. $9.36 billion. This is Zhu Ke's current net worth. With a net worth of nearly $10 billion, Zhuke was able to rank among the top 100, or even the top 80, of the 1999 Global Rich List, of course. If only accounting for the 1999 richest list of the United States, Zhuke would definitely be able to rank in the top 50. It's not that Zhu Ke is not doing his best, but the top-ranked rich are too big. In 1999, Microsoft's Bill Gates was awesome. Its market value of Microsoft, driven by the Internet era, became the world's first stock in May 1999, with a market value of $600 billion, which is close to the peak of $620 billion before the Internet bubble burst. This record has been in dust for 13 years. Subsequently, the Internet bubble burst, the market value of Internet companies fell one after another, and stockholders became more rational. Even Microsoft delayed for more than a decade before returning to its peak until 2012. The rising Apple broke this dusty 13-year record with a market value of $630 billion. In 1999, Bill Gates was the world's richest man with a personal net worth of $103.4 billion. Its huge wealth is more than $60 billion higher than Carlos, who is ranked second in the world. Faced with this huge bug, Bill Gates, what do you think Zhuke compares with now? Similarly, in the United States of America in 1999, among the top 50 billionaires on the list, the major shareholders of companies such as Cisco, AOL, Yahoo, Amazon and so on, which one is not worth more than tens of billions of dollars? Or is close to tens of billions of dollars? Zhu Ke's current wealth is indeed inferior to them. How can it be? I hold Google and LinkedIn in my hand. The future returns from these two companies alone are enough to make me go further. Furthermore, the richest man in the world is not my pursuit. With a Golden Dawn Entertainment Group as the center, building a media group that can distribute movies around the world, assisted by a large number of technology stocks and internet stocks, can definitely control their lives easily and happily. For a time, Zhu Ke was full of pride. Mr. Wald, at this moment, Anna, a private financial advisor, interrupted Zhu Ke's imagination. What's the matter? Zhu Ke frowned. Anna said, Mr. Wald, as a financial advisor to your finance team, I would like to ask if you have any other investment plans in the near future? You know, you have $590 million in cash in your personal account, worth $780 million. Gold reserves. This huge sum of money is not used for investment. According to the current rate of depreciation of the US dollar, it is definitely not a means to avoid risks. Zhuke nodded. He understands what Anna means. In recent years, the depreciation of the US dollar has indeed been rapid, and with the rise of the great Eastern powers, the European Union, and Asian countries, the US dollar is no longer enough to be called the US dollar. The international situation is constantly changing and the US dollar continues to depreciate, is irreversible. The dollar is not worth holding. Mr. Wald, I suggest that you continue to increase your gold reserves, or invest in other technology stocks and internet stocks to preserve your personal wealth. Anna suggested invest in technology stocks and internet stocks. Suddenly, Zhu shook his head. Joke. Even if Zhu Ke wants to preserve his wealth, he does not want to invest in internet stocks at this stage. No one knows better than the traversers that it is less than 7 months before the internet bubble burst. Investing in internet stocks, I have no brains, Zhu Ke thought to himself. In fact, there are $590 million in the account, which surprised Zhu Ke a little. Then Zhu Ke looked at the specific information and solved the doubt. In recent years, Wald Pictures has produced a lot of big-selling movies at the box office and made a lot of money. Even if this part of the money, Zhu Ke did not transfer it, but all used it for the construction of overseas channels and the production cost of new films. Zhu Ke has served as a producer in many film productions. Film producers are paid, and there are box office dividends. In recent years, just this part of the income has accumulated more than $40 million. Similarly, the Up TV network and the WB-TV network under the Golden Dawn TV group have produced variety shows such as The Talent Show, and film and television programs such as Prison Break, which have also made Zhu Ke a lot of money. That's how the $590 million in cash in the personal account came from. Anna, I have no plans to invest for the time being. Zhu Ke shook his head. Mr. Wald, I respect your decision, but as your financial advisor, I still want to remind you that depositing cash in the bank will cause your personal wealth to shrink. Anna said. Hearing this, Zhu Ke waved his hand quickly. Anna is not a traverser. Of course she doesn't understand Hugh's plan. Under the outbreak of the internet, I took advantage of the trend to sell short. Wouldn't it be bad? Zhu Ke smiled. In his heart, shorting requires a lot of money. The $590 million in the personal account is enough to guarantee Zhu Ke a big fight. The next day Zhu took a flight from Los Angeles to Seattle. The headquarters of Amazon.com is located in the Seattle area. As the host, Bezos naturally wants to show Zucker, don't worry, you don't need to pay for this meal. As the host, I will pay for it. In a Michelin restaurant, Bezos was particularly generous and did not see the stinginess of the past. Zhu Ke smiled and said, I came here in a hurry, and it must be your treat. And as a matter of course, why do you show such arrogance? Please answer. Come on, buddy. Bezos waved his hand disdainfully. Tell me, how much money did you make for your 8% of Amazon stock? I remember when it was exchanged for ICQ, it was worth about $100 million, but now the return you get is $3 billion worth of stocks. You made a lot of money, man. Zhu Ke showed a simple smile. Indeed, as Bezos said, Zhu made a lot of money. Bald head, if you feel jealous, you can buy back the stock from me. According to our friendship, I absolutely agree. Zhu Ke laughed. Bezos' complexion changed, and his gaze at Zhu immediately revealed the meaning of scrutiny. Are you sure you are not kidding? Bezos demanded. Of course, I, Zhu, can open boxes, drive wine, drive cars, and drive, but I'm not kidding. Zhu smiled. Bezos couldn't figure out Zucker's true intentions at the moment, so he laughed it off. Zhu Ke added, I am short of cash recently, and I really intend to sell some of Amazon's stock. Even if I don't sell it to you, I believe there will be a lot of people willing to take over. The internet bubble burst, imminent. Zhu Ke has the intention of realizing a wave of ideas for a safe landing. Of course, Lao Tzu will not sell all the technology stocks in his hands. But the stocks of some companies must be sold. With Amazon stocks, Zhu can throw out a portion of it and cash out high amounts of cash. Then after the internet bubble burst, when Amazon stock price fell from $40 to $2, it would absorb another wave of ultra-low prices, cash out at a high price and recycle at a low price. This one-to-one operation www.oopsiaspit.com is enough to make Zhu make a profit. For 2% of Yahoo's stock, I must find a taker, otherwise I will lose a lot when the crisis occurs. Yahoo is different from Amazon. In the future, Amazon is, anyway, the world's most valuable company per share, a giant company with a market value of more than $1 trillion, and holding its stock is definitely a profitable thing. Yahoo, after the internet bubble burst, Yahoo fell into a slump, and its market value plummeted year after year. It is definitely not a good thing to hold its stocks for a long time. Classmate Zhu Ke is more than a chicken thief. Zhu Ke was happy for his net worth of nearly tens of billions of dollars. But shortly afterwards, he was exposed by a media newspaper, First More. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.